Tony Dunn. Ain't nothing to it but to do it, brother. Let's roll.
In a world where Carolina Panthers fans have an insatiable thirst for Panthers news and opinions, only one podcast roars ferociously. It's the C3 Panthers Podcast.
My mic. Can you hear me, folks?
Yes.
Welcome to the C3 Panthers Podcast. I opened up my soundboard and it is missing. Holy cow. Tuesday night, longest running Panthers podcast. My name's Tony Dunn, aka the Professor. Cody Lashney, my wheelman. Take over while I reboot this little voice meter.
Yeah, no problem. You are now watching the premier Panthers podcast, the longest running Panthers podcast, the C3 Panthers podcast. We're so happy for everyone to be joining us, man. We had some joint practices today, and boy, do we have some opinions to give. I know I do, certainly relating to Matt Rhule. We now know who the left tackle for the Carolina Panthers is. It might be who you expected. It might not be who you wanted. We still have a quarterback competition to talk about. But first and foremost, you know we're going to do this with the best Panther fans in all of YouTube. You boys already know him and love him. It's our man, Drew, Anthony Price, Carolina M, Craig Cartner, D'Angelo the Legend, David Screws, Jay Prey, Jake Issue. What's up, bro? JD864, Joey the Blind Panther Esquivel, Noah 2023, Matt Knows Nothing, Robbie Switzer, Tim Estes, and Sideshow Rob. Pardon me if I didn't get to every single name. Tony Dunn. Ain't nothing to it but to do it, brother. Let's roll.
The number's 252-228-5098. You can be a part of the show. We'd love to hear your thoughts on Panthers training camp, Panthers Confidential, and tonight's show's title, Matt Rhule mismanaging Baker Mayfield and the Panthers? Or is this joint practice popping off? And it turns out that Frankie Louvu doesn't do the haka. It's actually something very similar to the haka, but it's the Samoan haka. They just, I feel like all of a sudden the Panthers were listening to our podcast and they go, let's make Frankie Louvu's haka a big damn deal over the last couple of days. Fisticuffs have broken out in Panthers joint practices with New England. One troll account has gotten people riled up saying that Mac Jones was up in Brian Burns' face saying, hold my nuts, or something like that. It was just a joke. So many people fell for it. Ridiculous. Not ridiculous, but just go ahead and just Google through the comments or look at the guy's post to see what's happening. So we've got that. We've got Camp Confidential, what we've learned about this team. We've got important battles we're going to be talking about when it comes to who our starting left tackle is, who the heck is the starting quarterback as we continue to do this. And what I'm most excited about and talk about is people stepping into new leadership roles on this team, or the torch has been passed to guys like Taylor Moton, Dante Jackson, Shaq Thompson, which we knew, Brian Burns. And these are big shoes to fill for guys like Cam Newton, Greg Olsen, Luke Kuechly, Thomas Davis, people of the past. But good news, rookie Matt Corral has got giant feet, so he can step right into those shoes. We want you to be a part of the show. Smash the thumbs up button and give a big hello to the voice that makes a moist CK in the house. How you doing, my friend?
Oh, man. I'll give you one guess.
Living the dream.
Living the dream, man.
Yeah, he is.
And listen, I mean, there's a lot of things going on in C3 and the C3 background that we have yet to tell you guys about. But listen, they can't be more true as time continues to go on, and you guys are helping us get to certain milestones and whatnot. And listen, I can't be happier to be talking with a group of guys with some of the most rowdy chat on any Panthers YouTube out there. So I'm just ready to get started talking about some of this stuff, because I have some opinions about what I've been hearing over the past few days, starting with a press conference from the post game after that.
Oh yeah, I need you
Commanders.
to walk me through that in a little while. Lynn Leonhardt in the chat. Hey Lynn, I have not forgotten about your message, by the way. She sent me a message on Twitter DM. I was traveling out of the country at the time, I believe, and it's just kind of slipped past. We're not doing the C3 Fantasy Football Challenge this year. I just didn't have the t-shirt plan and all of that. So next year we're going to bring back the giant one. The giant one it's a big deal. It's a lot to organize, and really kind of postponed it when COVID happened because there were so many moving parts that if they canceled a game, I didn't know how we were going to deal with it. People getting put on the COVID list, but things are settling out. I think it's time to bring back 35 subscribers away from 4K.
Ooh,
I know that 4K
Yes.
is not a giant number when most people listen to that are listening right now when it comes to YouTube, but our YouTube community is particularly special. And this is not diminishing any other people's YouTube communities that are even in the same genre, but we might not have the giant subscriber numbers that maybe some other channels. Clearly, Mr. Beast in Greenville, North Carolina, 100 million subscribers. Can you believe that? That's insanity. But we might have smaller numbers, but the views to subscriber ratio for us is incredible. Right, like 96% of our views or some insane amount like that comes from people who subscribe to the show. So it's like not only our subscribers subscribe to the show, they watch the show. So it means a lot to us. We're getting close, hitting 4K, and once we hit 4K, man, I know 5 and 6 and 7 is just coming next. So help us get to that milestone. Also, if you're interested in some fantasy, daily fantasy sports, or maybe trimming up your man parts, don't go and buy those things just yet. In about a week and a half, maybe next week, we'll start teasing out, not only teasing, but you can help the show by not only subscribing, calling in, but we're going to have some big sponsors we're going to be dropping on you guys in a little while, and you can support us by supporting them. If you like that kind of stuff and you buy it and you mention us, it will help us go a long way, and you can always donate directly to the show. You see the info down at the bottom. Cash App, PayPal, Super Chats, all welcomed and appreciated. Don't ask for it, but thank you. We do love y'all's support. We love your insight more than anything. And I love the insight, the creativity, the enthusiasm that the stat daddy, the bat daddy, Greg, how you doing, my friend? Well, as you bring to the show, how you doing, my friend?
I'm doing fantastic, man. In the past week,
mute.
no, not anymore.
No.
Right? Nope. Can you hear me? Okay, I was about to say I'm doing fantastic. I've had a fan fest.
I can hear come in, Tony.
I can hear.
No, Tony can't hear me. Okay. Well, I've had a fan fest this week, which has been fantastic. I've had a Panthers win, a first look at Baker Mayfield. Now I'm here to talk to you guys about all this stuff. It's coming up Millhouse for me. I'm enjoying what's going on so far, but I'm ready to talk some Panthers football.
Nice.
Can you hear me now?
No, you still don't hear him?
I can't hear him.
Oh no, that's not good.
I know.
Let me
I'm ask only
come out and come back in.
It's such a weird thing to have happen.
Guys, the whole reason we like the StreamYard is because, and it was just working right before the show.
Yeah,
it's so confusing.
I don't know. All right.
So you still can't hear me?
Cody comes back and Greg continues to be the man with the moving mouthpiece, I'm gonna have to leave. We're gonna do a dance, do a little dance, sing a little song. Cody, latch me tonight. All right. Now I'm gonna have to leave. Greg, you leave and come back. I'll leave and come back. Cody, tell them what the first topic is. It's the joint practices, man.
Oh yeah, man. Listen, I named tonight's show Matt Rhule Mismanaging Baker Mayfield because I think that it's about time that we had this conversation, man. We've been having it for a while, but we need to talk about today's joint practices with the Patriots because I do think they were telling in some of the things that happened. According to reports, it was not a good day for either offense, be it the Patriots or the Panthers. But one of the things that we did notice consistently was that both Baker Mayfield and Sam Darnold did not look very impressive.
Oh, that's right.
Against the Patriots' first team defense. So my question is, and it's basically, we're just going to jump right into it tonight. Is Matt Rhule hindering Baker Mayfield by us continuing to not, just name him the starter and giving Sam Darnold more reps than, frankly, he deserves. And I wanted to go to our man Joe Person on this issue because, Joe, he really has this kind of mindset that, this whole thing is just for mouth service. This is how beat reporters are talking about this. He says it might not be Wednesday or even immediately after Friday's preseason game here, but sometime soon, Rhule is going to announce that Mayfield will be the team's week 1 starter against Cleveland, and CBS suits will rejoice. And like he did in reference to Ekwonu, Rhule can say Mayfield earned it and that Darnold was given his shot. Now, we're going to talk about Ikem Ekwonu playing left tackle here in a minute, but given reports that Baker Mayfield did not look very impressive today, kind of off rhythm with his receivers, is this another example of our players being done dirty by Matt Rhule, putting them in a position where they're not able to find a cohesive rhythm with one another? Because I think you probably already know what I feel. This is Matt Rhule's modus operandi, okay? The mode with which he operates is putting players in a position where they have to overcome all these needless obstacles before they do the job they were brought here to do. So, what say all of you?
Listen, I'll give you my opinion right out of the gate. I've said it. I've been a bit vocal about this. I think we're making a grave mistake. And I won't say grave. I think it is a temporary hindrance with this quarterback battle. And I don't even think it's a matter of making Baker feel confident because he earned it. I think it has everything to do with Matt Rhule just trying to make Sam Darnold not feel bad, right? I feel like he's trying to protect the pride of Sam Darnold. And because here's the thing, let me ask you a question. Do we believe, in all honesty, that if we had successfully traded for Deshaun Watson, do you really believe that they would be having a battle right now?
No.
Right.
Not at all. Hey,
I don't
hang
think
on.
they should, but I think that Matt Rhule, being the guy that he is, would say they were going to.
Oh,
But I'm right behind you on this, CK. Just so you know.
I don't think
I completely agree with what you're saying.
I don't think there is a shot in hell that David Tepper would be letting there be any type of quarterback battle if they had traded those assets for Deshaun Watson. Now, am I saying they're on the same level? No, right? Deshaun Watson clearly has had, I wouldn't say more success, but he's had a better track record of being a consistently good quarterback in this league, right? Baker hasn't had that benefit of the doubt, right? When it comes to that stuff. But at the end of the day, I think it's wholeheartedly a problem that's going to come back and cause some problems for Baker, and it's going to cause there to be some issues there. And I said in one of my there was a I can't remember who it was who had made a post about this, saying, how impactful it is to Baker Mayfield. We've talked about this. I'm not even so much worried about the impact it's having on Baker Mayfield. The fact that we still are maintaining the idea that Sam is going to be on this team moving into the season is absolutely crazy, right? Yeah. There should be no reason for that.
CK, before you continue to go forward, you're making great points here. Tony can't hear you. So when Greg came out and in, it fixed it. So you come back out and in, and I'll continue upon his point, though. To me, this is 100% a Matt Rhule thing. And I 100% agree with you. CK, were you done with your statement? You want to continue, bro? Let's see if it fixed it.
Yeah, did it fix it?
Yes, Greg.
Nice.
Perfect.
Can you hear me?
Yes, yay. Oh my God. Now
All
we're
right.
like a quartet again. Jesus Christ. You look
Band is
great.
back
Whatever you were
together.
saying, you look fantastic. I felt like this is like CK jumped right in there too. He was like, I got something to say about this.
He came in strong. It was good too.
I know.
Yeah.
My boy Kevin, who's in the chat, KG, he sent me a message where he commented on Facebook. He said Baker went 3 for 10. And Darnold had an interception and batted down. He said this, he quote, we literally went out and traded for a headache. They're both turnover machines, but at least Sam is a threat to run, especially near the goal line. I disagree. I think they're both equal threats to run. They're both the same. saying. But here is that clearly there is unfamiliarity, right, with the system and some different things or whatever. Why do you guys think that Baker looked so sharp in the preseason in that, and then today maybe in practice struggled?
Well, I have one suggestion, and I haven't heard anybody say anything about this. Is we always talk about the offense playing good or bad during practice, but we never talk about the defense. Can we maybe the defense just had a really good day?
They did. They had a
You know what I mean,
very good day.
could it be just
Both.
that we have a decent defense and they had a really good day in practice, and because of that the offense suffered? Because you're not going to know if you have a good defense unless the offense suffers.
Right.
Period.
Both
Yeah, well,
So if
defenses
the
had
offense has a good
fantastic
day every day, there's something wrong with your defense.
And to add on top of that, whenever you're playing another team, now you're starting to see all the defensive fronts that you're going to see during the season. Credit to Matt Rhule. He did say that today they went up against like 70 or 72 different defensive looks. And that definitely is going to
How is that even
off,
possible?
You know? I don't know. I'm just telling you that's what Matt Rhule said.
Like, what the
that,
I think he's
that's
such a
another
nerd.
Matt Rhule is. I know we're gonna do Matt Rhule. We're gonna go deep on him. But my thing with this quarterback conversation is, listen, it'd be very easy for me to come in here and say, here we go again. I was right, everyone. Baker Mayfield's already missing his receivers, looking terrible. But no, I'm not going to do that, man, because I know who Matt Rhule is, because he continues to show who he is. He continues to go forward with these competitions that aren't really competitions. It's only mouth service. And at the end of the day, we're not giving all of our starters that we know are going to be starters enough time to be prepared come the season opener. Like, everyone knows that Sam Darnold is not going to be the starter. And you're really doing a disservice to Robbie Anderson and DJ Moore and Tommy Tremble and all the other targets that you've acquired for Baker Mayfield by not letting him have the time to really get in there and really be with the guys that are going to be your ones all season.
How, I wonder if they even ran 70 offensive plays. Like, how do you have 70? Like 2 different looks on every play, 3 different looks on every play. Here is this. I saw this as one of the media people for the Pats put this up, and they said, look at the Panthers media guide for this, and look, it really highlights exactly the 2 positions we're talking about here: Pat Eflin or Bradley Bozeman as starting today. Quarterback Baker Mayfield or Sam Darnold.
Right.
One of the things that we would have probably said at one point, where I'm going to take this down now, is this is what they do in college. And I'm not saying that I don't know if it's really how much it's affecting how crisp these guys are just yet. I'm not really ready to panic on any of this. So what that we didn't have a sharp day against a team that you expect to be especially defensively sound. A Bill Belichick team is always going to be a good defense. They're one of the top D's in the league year in and year out. And you're bringing in all new. You're on their home turf and their environment. You're already out coached. Right. But I'm just saying, is like, I'm not ready to freak it. I saw the people, some Fins fans, some Dolphins fans freak, 2 or 3 picks today. And it's just like, so I'm not going to completely freak out about it, but I do agree. And I think we've been saying it, is that this competition between Baker Mayfield and Sam Darnold is ultimately lip service. Is that, imagine having the gusto. What if Matt Rhule ran a 2 quarterback system all season?
Oh God, I didn't think that it would be possible for me to not be able to stand him any more than I do, and yet that could certainly happen too. Yeah, go ahead.
Can I say that I actually would like to see how a 2 quarterback system would work, but not with a Sam Darnold and Baker Mayfield combo? You'd need something like a Drew Brees Cam Newton combo to see how that would work.
I think you should just put them both out there at the same time, and you don't know who the snap's going to. Just have them line up beside each other.
Do some real college football
on one
type
play.
shit.
they snap it to the left. On the other play, they
I wonder
snap
if that's
it to the
legal.
right.
I wonder if that's
I
legal.
somehow
Good
doubt
idea.
it, but
Oh,
You could take you could take a direct snap to the running back and he could throw it. Why couldn't you have two quarterbacks line up
right,
in the running back
right.
position? You know?
And then Bradley Bozeman. Speaking of Bradley Bozeman, suffered some sort of injury. They don't think it's going to be that big of a deal, or they don't think it's serious. But he limped off and then was carted off. So a lot of questions right there at those two positions. I mean, you know what is not only are we asking them, the Panthers are asking them. They're asking them more than we are, or just as much. Yeah. And so I'm not going to freak out just yet about this. Did you see Robert Kraft pull up in the helicopter, dude?
No.
Did he big time David Tepper?
I didn't even see.
Yeah. Oh, dude, that was all over Twitter. It was making its rounds. As Robert Kraft came in a damn helicopter, man. You know, I wonder what David Tummy Tepper did. No, he was out there. I saw one of the PMP guys, because one of them lives in Massachusetts. He lives in Boston or somewhere right out there, was at that, and he had a picture taken with Tepper. I used to have a picture with Tepper, but it was my fat picture, so I took it down. So we got that. These joint practices. Did you also what is the sign the Patriots run in their yard now? Did you guys see that one too?
The no bull. That's a clothing line.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Everybody was saying that. I was like, yeah, that's a clothing
that's
line.
An advertisement.
Actually, yeah. Well, if you look, the Pat McAfee was actually talking about that brand today. They're now the new sponsors for the
Combine.
The Combine.
Okay.
So all the clothes the players are going to be wearing at the Combine from now on are going to be, or at least for next year, are going to be that clothing line.
So No Bull is the new name for New Era. New Era has been rebranded to No Bull. So if anybody wonders like where the hell they just came from.
Twitter led me astray on that. I'm obviously not hip enough on clothing to know that. Speaking of clothing, you could get a t-shirt like this. CarolinaCatChronicles.com. Go there, buy one of those. You'll find a link in the show description. What's next?
So, well, I mean, but before we kind of move on to this left tackle thing, I did want to, continue to put that out there. Baker Mayfield, he was inaccurate today, based on all reports. So, by the way, the Patriots YouTube channel, they had a live stream that was audio only. And, dude, the commentators were so bad listening to them.
Bad. And they were official, too. Like, it's not even... That's the hysterical thing about it. It was like they were garbage. Like the entire time, and I know we do this, but the entire time, the only things they could say were, I guess Sam Darnold seeing ghosts. Like they said like 18 times, dude. And then they were talking about every time Mayfield would overthrow somebody. But that's what he does. They were just like fucking mad shit, dude.
With dicks.
Like, oh my God.
They are New Englanders.
You know what else they said? They said, these Panthers players are dirty, man. They were talking about how dirty our Panthers players were.
Yeah, that we were the ones starting fights, that we were the ones being chippy, that the Patriots sideline was way more mellow than ours.
I'm sure.
Dude, they were just going full homer on it. But hey, dude, what are you going to expect from some Patriots fans, that's really what they are at the end of the day.
Interestingly, it was two Patriots that got kicked out and only one Panther player.
Well, that's because I think that the one Panther player, who was it?
Kenny Robinson.
Kenny Robinson was throwing haymakers, bro.
Yeah, probably with helmets on, like throwing haymakers with guys with helmets on, like
I know,
idiot
so stupid.
football.
But what else you do? You have to kick them. You got it.
Well, no, man. I mean, you're right. There's nothing else you can do, but like, I'm not gonna punch a guy who has a helmet on. Grab the face mask, rip him to the ground, take that thing off. Like, do something. Like, you're dumb if you punch a helmet.
Right. These fights happen though, so I'm not even upset. Like, I mean, this is happening throughout the league and all of this. But two Patriots got kicked out and only one Panther. That's what I'm saying. Is that at the end of the day, we may have had a guy that was throwing punches, but it wasn't like these other guys were scrumming it. And then that begged a question right away, and we'll skip ahead one topic and we'll come back to the offensive line, Cody, is CK brought this up. I think CK was on this before everybody, dude. Yesterday, as we were heading up into these joint practices, CK says, we gotta find out more about this Brian Burns Mac Jones joint. Remember, I guess was it last year, Mac Jones either fumbled or threw a pick or something to that effect, and ended up like in a scrum with Brian Burns, and he then twisted and held on and twisted. We've diagnosed this video to the nth degree. Panther fans thought it was a dirty play. New England players saw no foul, no harm, and their savior, Mac and Cheese Jones. But then some account today. Did you see the tweet that took off?
I did. I can pull it up.
I got it right here. I think I got it. I can pull it up right here. Is that this also made its round on Twitter? I like this. Simon Charles this is a fake account. This is a like a joke of whatever. What do they call it when you're just trying to be
troll
funny?
account?
Yeah, troll account. Mac Jones just went up to Brian Burns following a long touchdown pass to Tyquan Thornton and said, "Hold my nuts, little bitch," which lead to a massive brawl here at Patriots camp. Burns then pushed Jones over, leading to punches thrown by Kendrick Bourne and others defending his QB1. And this turned, I can't tell if people believed it or not, or if they were just trying to play along. This guy's account is pretty funny. He has let me see. I saw this one earlier. I like this one. Cardinals quarterback Kyler Murray has agreed to have his $230 million contract paid entirely in COD points. The first player in NFL history to do this. I thought that one was funny. But Brian, there was some tussle there, but you guys remember the Brian Burns Mac Jones thing.
Yeah.
And some people said this goes back to high school.
Really?
I see people in the chat talking about going back to Alabama or being an
Right,
Alabama
maybe,
thing.
I heard
but
high
don't know.
school at one point.
Yeah.
Well,
pretty
Florida
crazy.
State and Alabama weren't rivals. Maybe they played one another, but yeah, a lot of these players, they do go all the way back to high school. So it wouldn't surprise me.
So do you think it's that? Do you think it's that or just Mac Jones being in the moment realizing, oh, I fucked up. This guy's gonna get the ball. Let me twist his knee. No matter who it was.
Oh, yeah. I think that is definitely it. But last year when that happened, I don't think it's because they had bad blood.
Right. Not because it was Brian Burns. It was just
right. But I
because he's a
think
dirty
that
player.
this storyline continues to gain some kind of cool dynamics because of it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Hey, but by the way, guess what? We've got 269 people watching.
Oh, perfect time.
And let me
perfect time.
tell you, dude, that's nice. That's real nice. In fact, it's so nice that you know what time it is, baby. All these freaks that come here for one and one thing only. Wait no more. Talk to them, Big Papa.
Well. Ladies and gentlemen, we have one more week of preseason football in the books. We have one more week coming up, and we're going to be playing the Patriots, the team that everybody in the NFL absolutely loves. And you have come here to hear us chop up the conversation, the news, the discussions about what we've seen and heard from this training camp, this joint practice, this brawl that took place on the field. But you haven't come in here and hit that thumbs up button the way that Brian Burns is about to smack the shit out of Mac Jones. You haven't hit that like button. You haven't hit that subscribe button. We have 35 more people to hit 4,000 subs. If you haven't done so, I have one thing to say to all you freaks and legends. Subscriber shame.
$260 people watching, 101 thumbs up. Hit that like, hit that subscribe. Help us put the YouTube algorithm in a headlock and give it a noogie unlike it has ever had before. Hit that like, hit that subscribe. Help C3 to continue to grow. We're going to be doing this all year long, giving you all the Panther Panther content and conversations that you're wanting. That's what we're here, man. We've got things going on behind the scenes. C3 is constantly, steadily growing. Hit that like, hit that subscribe. Boys, we can either talk about this tackle position.
I do. I want to give it
Yeah.
a segue here, Cody,
Okay.
on this is that we were talking about the kind of uncertainty at the quarterback position. That's like the competition that's been unfolding. That we saw it on the program today from the Panthers quarterback in the center. If you would have looked at if this program, this media guide would have been made last week, the left tackle would have also said Brady Christensen or Ekwonu. Now, this was named today. The news came out, or yesterday, today, is that Ekwonu's the starter running with the ones. And it looks like they want Brady Christensen to move in to the guard position. We'll talk about that in just a moment. But I wonder, when we were just to relate it back to the quarterback conversation, is had somebody stepped out today and looked sharper than the other, particularly in this case, Baker, was this Baker Mayfield's opportunity for them to announce that next? Right. And maybe if tomorrow, if that happens, if, you know, somebody seemingly takes a step forward and answers, especially the guy they think it's going to be already, right? Will that be the next nugget that you hear is, okay, now it's Baker Mayfield 1, Darnold 2. So what's happening here at the left tackle? Because we've been looking at this guard position the offensive line with a lot of interest for a long time, a lot of disinterest for several years. But this year, the Panthers offensive line may be interesting. And today, Joe Person gave us a little news.
Yeah, I mean, it is official. Ikem Ekwonu is the starting left tackle. He basically said they didn't want to give it to him. He wanted to give, Brady the benefit of the doubt. But he would also go on to say, and again, this is Joe Person at The Athletic. He said Panthers coach Matt Rhule had Ikem Ekwonu working behind Brady Christensen the first 3 weeks of training camp, not wanting to give the position to a player some thought could be the number one pick in the draft. He wanted Ikem to play and put it on tape in game before we put him with the ones, Rhule said after the first of 2 joint practices with the Patriots. We wanted to go in a game and play and earn it with his play. So he played well in the game. So, again, we kind of already feel like we knew that this was going to happen. Many people wanted this to happen. You drafted him number 6 overall, play this man at left tackle. At least it's happening. I will still say, though, that if you look at the results of today's practice, when he went up against Matthew Judon, Matthew Judon is one of the better edge rushers in the NFL. I don't expect him to win every rep, certainly. But I think one of the things that we're hearing is that there's a lot of nuances to the left tackle position that Ikem Ekwonu, as a rookie, is having a hard time picking up. And again, I'm not blaming him for that. He's a young football player, and he came from NC State. NC State has a run-first football team. So the amount of true pass sets that Ikem Ekwonu has actually gotten a chance to take truly hasn't been a whole ton, especially when going up against NFL-level competition. So, again, that's why I was one of the people who was pounding the table to at least let Ikem Ekwonu try left guard. However, what I didn't expect to happen was Brady Christensen has also looked very well playing left guard as well, to the point where I have no qualms about Brady Christensen playing left guard for the Carolina Panthers this year. I think he's that big and powerful and naturally athletic that I don't think it's going to be a problem for him so much like I did last year when I felt like he was kind of bounced around in every position rather needlessly. And he never played guard before either. I think Christensen's come a long way.
The only issue I would have with them saying that maybe Icky's not ready is the fact that I can't trust Matt Rhule's judgment on offensive linemen.
Right.
So
it's
if
crazy because that's the only position group he coached in the NFL.
Yeah, he was the
Yeah,
NFL O-line
yeah.
coach.
So like I just can't trust that judgment. Like I know that coming into the season, he was looked at as a guy who could have been a number 1 draft pick. He was the best offensive lineman drafted in the draft from what people say. So it seems like he'd be prepared. That doesn't mean that when he gets to the NFL, he's going to be great. But once again, I have a hard time trusting their judgment of players. I think that Matt Rhule's a bad judge of NFL players, to be honest with you. I think that's his biggest problem. Maybe he can coach them, but I think he's a bad judge of NFL players.
Well, I think we've seen, and we're
Down.
going to go on. We're going to talk about Camp Confidential shortly, but I don't want to, when I say this, it's automatically going to sound like a slight, right? Because it's like the college coaching mentality. And the idea is that the brand, or in college, the team, the program is bigger than any player. No player is bigger than the program. You saw this kind of in some of his pep talk when it came in Camp Confidential. And maybe you see it with this, is that like this idea that he wanted to create this competition for the sake of nobody feeling like anything is just purely given. Right. And at the end of the day, I don't even know. I think it's the camping guy who's telling Matt Rhule what to do on this and what the best idea is. I think Matt Rhule is just trying to put a reminder on everybody, the fans, the media, the players, his coaches, is that like the process is bigger than everything. And that's what I think this was all about. I thought we were all going to get here in the end. And at the end of the day, he was trying to say this last year with Brady Christensen. The process was better than Brady Christensen, or more important than Brady Christensen. And so Ikem Ekwonu is going to come out there, and he is a top pick. And you look at all across the league, and other people are doing it differently. But I would not be surprised if Ikem Ekwonu does struggle to a certain degree, or at certain times, like you said. I think maybe the Rashawn Slater season may give us some false perspective on how rookie left tackles do in the NFL. I'd go back. I dare someone to go back and look at the top rookie left tackles drafted in the top 10 over the last 20 years and tell me how many of them had a good rookie season. Not to say that they weren't turned out to be some decent players, but some of the most like can't miss prospects even struggled in their rookie years. So just know is that there's going to be a learning curve. The playing that on the ends is tough in the NFL. You're going against the best athletes on the other side of football. And so it's just difficult.
Does anyone think that the Panthers got this wrong? Like, I know everyone thinks that that's what I think, but at the end of the day, I'm on get both of these dudes out there at the same time. I don't want Brady Christensen or Ikem Ekwonu to be riding the bench at any time. So especially not for Michael Jordan of all things. And that's another thing. Now they're trying to say that there's a battle for guard between Christensen and Michael Jordan. Let me tell you, ladies and gentlemen, ain't no fucking competition. I don't care what podcast you listen to. Michael Jordan is not a starter in the NFL. Neither is Pat Elflein. And yet Matt Rhule continues to shove these dudes down our throats, man. It's one of the things that really makes it hard for me to have a lot of belief in Matt Rhule, the way he continuously fumbles the bag with the amount of talent that he has on this roster.
That was going to be my next question for you, Cody, does this mean that Christensen automatically goes to guard, or that there's a competition for guard? Because I agree with you 100%. They both need to be on the field. But I've said it before, whatever Christensen plays better, Icky should play opposite that. That way they can both be on the field. If they feel that Icky plays left tackle better and Christensen plays guard better, then that's fine. But I think both of them need to be out there. Michael Jordan, no.
Right.
No.
I'm a firm believer that right now, the Carolina Panthers do not have a better left tackle on the roster than Brady Christensen. Okay. Now, that is not to say that maybe Ikem Ekwonu doesn't have an even higher ceiling than Brady Christensen at the left tackle position. That's not even my point. I'm saying Brady Christensen right now, if we were to start the season tomorrow, is better prepared to play the left tackle position than Ikem Ekwonu. That's
whose
not
fault is that?
criticism.
That's
Like
where he
that's
should
the
be.
thing. Isn't
Go
that a part of the? Isn't that a same part of that same criticism about if at the end of the day, based on that press conference, this was Matt Rhule's intention the entire time was to have Icky playing left guard or left tackle. So why the fuck was he playing anything other than left tackle this entire time? Get him the reps with the ones. Let him learn behind against Brian Burns the entire time. Now the other question I have, and this is where I'm really I'm torn, is all I've heard is praise about how good Christensen has been this year in training camp against some of these incredible defensive pass rushers, right? But now all of a sudden, I haven't heard that same level of ooh and ah for Icky yet. Now that's not saying he won't get there, but I just kind of feel odd. I almost had this expectation that Brady was going to be the one running with the ones for the entire year, at least at left tackle, and then Icky was going to be left guard. Does that mean that I was when we were drafting Icky, I was like, we're going to have him at left tackle, sure. But from all, everything that I've seen, Brady has had a very good camp.
Yes.
And so I'm just not sure exactly what the decision was or why it came to this, as opposed to let maybe even Icky play in guard. If Brady is having a good camp at left tackle, why mess with that cohesion? Now, to be fair, today, while Icky was taking ones, this defensive line was garbage, or offensive line was not good.
Yeah.
Every other play that I was hearing the Patriots uninterrupted broadcast talking about was how that would have been a sack. Oh, that would have been a sack. Oh, they're just letting this defensive line get straight through to Baker. They're letting them get straight through to Sam. It was the entire time. So I'm not sure that I feel very confident in the fact that we've midway through the preseason decided to switch up our starting line or offensive lineman situation. I guess better now than never, but still.
Yeah. But I think the blitzes had a lot to do with it too. Again, this is the first time they're going up against a different defense. Yeah. They're going up against D coordinators that are actually trying to scheme up pressure and different ways to do things. I mean, there's a reason in the Pro Bowl they don't let you blitz. The blitzes are what's, can really get your butt whipped. And also the rotating coverages too. It's not, that's why I'm not freaking out, even though I'm not a Baker believer. I'm not freaking out about him having a bad day today, because it takes time to get into rhythm, and because they're starting to rotate coverages. They might start at single high safety, then all of a sudden they have 2 or 3 guys up there that have dropped and rotated into coverage. A lot of different things are happening, and that's why I think cohesion is important. Yeah. And Matt Rhule is not letting our best players find that level of cohesion.
Well, I mean, that's there's kind of a common thread here, right? Is you start that at quarterback, some questions about that at offensive line, maybe at the center position of how. I wonder why Eflin was just so given the job so much. A lot of people said Bozeman didn't play well in the preseason game. I didn't go back and watch it just yet, but I tell you one person that did not play well, and that was Michael Jordan. And I don't want to hear any of these Michael Jordan defenders, man. I love some people. There's a couple of them who are offensive line gurus who say this is like, oh, you can highlight a bad play from anybody. Well, that's what y'all do every time somebody you don't like it makes a bad play. You guys highlight it, man. And we saw Michael Jordan get bull rushed, look like a ridiculous fool. Pat Eflin in one clip looked like he was in a high school girl fight. He was just swinging his hands, and the guys were just run. Yep. I mean, it just was nothing right there screamed in that game that those guys look good. But then you saw some clips of Ekwonu and Christensen at both positions looking good together. So that's the good news here is hey, if these two if Christensen can turn out to play left guard better than maybe. Who cares at this point? Let's just say that is they're both better than Michael Jordan, right? And that point, and they both looked a lot better together. Right. And it does wonder, and I think CK really hit the nail on the head, is that if you're just doing this to do it, Are you making that the problem? Are you the problem in that case? And is Matt Rhule manufacturing the competition rather than it being real? It may be not even that it being real, but if he already knows who he thinks is going to start, then it's really not a competition.
Right.
And isn't it strange how some of these players he feels necessary to create competition, but other players he doesn't? You know, you never heard any competition for Jaycee Horn.
Right. True.
Like having to earn that. You know what I mean? And I don't know. We probably could find a couple of other ones. Derek Brown never was in a competition to step in, right? It's like, oh, you needed them. You needed them so badly. So you didn't have any choice. I don't know. It's kind of bizarre. I really hope Matt Rhule turns it around. I'm trying to get a clean slate with him. I'm trying to go into the season without I don't want to root for his failure. But look at these. None of these guys here. This play right here. Neither of them are doing a good job.
No.
Right?
And
the
like,
center
why
already
are they even
loses, but
playing?
what is Michael Jordan doing? Like, he should be helping the other way.
Yeah, these guys, they have not only do they not have any idea what they're doing, but they continuously have shown that they have no idea what they're doing. Pat Elflein and Michael Jordan are like two pills of medicine that you don't want to take, but your parents keep forcing it down your throat, man. And Matt Rhule is the parent in this scenario. A lot of people online, on Twitter, in our podcast, I don't want to say a lot of people because really it's the minority of people, but to anyone who comes up here and says that we're being unfair about Matt Rhule, one of the reasons our offensive line was so god-awful last year was because of these two men.
Yeah.
Scott Fitterer went out and got guys to replace them in the offseason through free agency, and both of them have struggled to get starting time. Corbett for Jordan and Bradley Bozeman, who went down with a brief injury today. We're hoping that he's not going to be out too long. But Bradley Bozeman has been running with the twos, I feel like, far more than Pat Elflein has. Pat Elflein has been our starting center, for the past few weeks and started against the Commanders. This makes absolutely no sense in the world to me. And if you're going to say that we're being unfair to Matt Rhule by calling out his blatant mismanagement of our offense, what do you expect from us? The repeated patterns here.
Was Cam Irvin in a competition last year? No. He wasn't. He was just given the job. So, this is it's the pick and choose stuff. Let's go ahead and jump into the cat calls. The number's 252-228-5098. That's 252-228-5098. It's your chance to let us know what you think. Is Matt Rhule mismanaging this is he manufacturing this competition? Is he mismanaging this offense, particularly Baker Mayfield and the quarterback situation, the offensive line situation? And what do you think about the news of the offense not being that sharp as we went to New England? Cody, takes to the calls.
So what are your thoughts on catcalling?
Yeah, it's pretty. You shouldn't do that to somebody.
And how did that make you feel?
Very uncomfortable.
So how do you think catcalling makes the person feel?
It feels good, like.
Who's that cat sitting in the back corner with his face buried in his nose? Who's that kid that can use one?
Everybody is watching, you know what I'm saying, keeping informed
now we got
camp and everything like that
on the line here.
That's over with.
And we're going to have to fade that clip. That's the one thing we're going to have to do next.
I forgot to mention something.
And
I
hope you have
congratulations to Sam Mills, man, going into
Can I hear it?
man. Yeah. God bless his soul, man. I remember that
you can't hear it?
in high school, man.
I can hear it.
But really, that's not the first Panther into the Hall of Fame.
Can you hear Cody?
Because you really want to be honest, you got Reggie White, you got Kevin Green, and now Sam Mills.
Julius Peppers one day.
All three defense, isn't that something? And I know they didn't get drafted by the Panthers.
Yep.
I understand that, you know what I'm saying? But they were Panthers, man. So God bless Sam Mills. You know what I'm saying? He came up with our slogan, you keep pounding. I know he passed away in 2005 and everything. So I just want to say congratulations to Sam Mills. God bless your soul. Keep pounding.
Keep
Podcast.
pounding. Congratulations, Sam Mills. And I can say that if they're trying to take away that chant, that keep pounding chant, we had mentioned that before. I was at FanFest. That thing ain't going nowhere.
Nope.
That thing ain't
Nowhere at
going
all.
nowhere.
No
That
shot.
is the fans chant. I had people at FanFest asking me what that was about, which is cool. New Panthers fans asking me what it was about, and it's really cool to explain it. So, yeah, congratulations, Sam Mills. And
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
And by the way, maybe we can play it later too. But if you haven't seen it, JJ Jansen on this most recent edition of Camp Confidential, and we'll talk about Camp Confidential here in a little bit too. But JJ Jansen gave a really good speech about keep pounding and what it means and what Sam Mills meant to everyone. And that's a great speech. I highly recommend that everyone go and look that up. And yeah, man, shout out to Sam Mills. We didn't really get a chance to touch on it too much. But yeah, I mean, look, he is an all-time great Panther legend and a Hall of Famer now who supplied us with our house words. Keep pounding. It's a motto. It's something to live by. I'm pumped, man. I'm happy for him, happy for his family. It sucks that Ron Rivera had to fire his grandson, like right near and around the time that happened for him. But shout out to the great Sam Mills and keep pounding. We'll never die here in Carolina. That's a promise. Tony, were you ever able to hear my call? Or did you hear the call?
Nope. You keep going though, and the new calls I'm gonna play those. So the ones you already got downloaded, uploaded, you play, and then I will play the new ones coming in.
All right. I've got 6 of them.
All right. Well, hey, interpret for me.
Hey guys,
Yeah.
it's the girl
hear
that
that?
makes them howl,
Yeah.
aka Joey the Blind Panther. And
Dude,
two
this
things.
is so weird.
What's
up, Joey?
One, yeah, dude, FanFest was awesome. I loved it. And I even got to meet Shy Smith's cousin. Somehow, I don't know how she got stuck up in the nosebleeds or something. Maybe the suites are up that high, I don't know. But we were in the elevator coming down together. And, yeah, so I met his cousin. And the other thing is,
cool.
You know how our Ice Up segment, right? Well, you know Aqib Talib's brother is in trouble because he killed the coach of a youth football team because his son's team wasn't winning.
Oh, I saw that.
So
yes.
yeah, apparently needing to ice up isn't that much, or it kind of runs in the Talib family. So yeah, it made me think of Steve Smith grabbing Aqib's gold chains, telling him, "Ice up, son, toughen up, get it together." So to Aqib Talib's brother, "Ice up, son, toughen up, get it together. You'll have plenty of time to do it because your ass is going to be in jail for a while." Anyway, guys. Wow.
He really drew that one out. So
what a bizarre story, dude. I mean, and then to see it all happen, basically, you see the fight unfold.
Yeah.
You hear the gunshots go off. How insane.
Why does a Peewee football game need to be that serious, man?
Look,
Dude,
you guys don't even
people-
understand. I'm telling you, there are bets that go on at these games. There are thousands of dollars riding on some of these games and Peewee football games. It is insane what parents put on these games.
And it's
Absolutely
not the game, Cody. It's not the game. You know what I'm saying? It had really nothing to do with a call from the ump or anything like that. It is there's a type of person in the world where their anger hits a certain, like they just don't have a understanding of consequence,
Right.
and not consequence, but like how big of a decision they're making is. It's not even just fear of staying out of jail. Like that's not, I don't want to reduce it down to this. It's like they just don't understand that if I shoot somebody, I mean, like then you're just a complete fucking sociopath anyway, because you just want to stay out of jail and you don't really care about not killing people.
Right.
But the thing is this is in the moment, those people are overcome. Certain people are overcome by either emotion or this lack of ability to think in broader contextual terms of humanity, punishment, life, justice, whatever, empathy, and all of that. And that's why the person you don't ever, the person you don't want to fight is not the biggest, strongest dude. It's the motherfucker who doesn't give a shit.
Right.
Yeah.
Like that will all, and to be honest, I can tell you that person is my sister-in-law. Like she will just go nuclear. She will just go fucking nuclear, bro. Like, I mean, it's like, oh, you want to do this? Well, how about this? Boom. And it's like everything will be amped up and revved up to the next level without any thought of and that's what it is. So I think sometimes we go, oh, how do you just do this because of a little league game? It's not that. It's because they have it's like a sociopathic temper tantrum.
And then they don't have a single shred of care towards the kind of trauma that they're going to put on these young kids that are growing up around it, that are having to deal with this shit at a Peewee football game. It's absolutely disgusting, man. But by the way, he did say he met Shi Smith's cousin going down an elevator. So,
awesome.
Yeah, that seems pretty cool. Shout out to Joey for being able to do that. You want to just, I only played 2 calls, Tony. If you go to the archive thing, you should be able to.
Bro, I'm listening to him. I got it up. Keep going. I'm listening to him.
He's making it work.
All right. So let's go to call number 3.
Hey. It's the phone that makes some moan. What's happening, fellas?
White
Just got back from
chocolate.
Charleston yesterday. Had a blast on my 6-day vacation. Went up to Charlotte, Fan Fest, and went to Greenville with my cousin.
Yeah.
I have blast with Cody. We were chilling, at the Fan Fest and everything.
Hell
Helping him set up his grinder. He don't know how to do that. I think he met a nice guy.
Shut up.
And I think they're going out Tuesday. What he
You're
told
such
me.
a dick.
Good luck, Cody. Yeah, I can't wait for this Friday. What are y'all hoping to see out there? Let me know. Peace. Hey.
So no, he did not help me set up a grinder profile. I already had that shit set up months before, dude.
I made the assumption he was talking about some sort of a drug thing, like like grinding up the seeds and some shit.
I don't even blame you. I don't even blame you. Dude, hey, shout out to my man Kevin, dude. Dude, one of the great things about this podcast is all the friends that I have made, that I know we all have made in one another. Being able to meet you guys is incredible, man. Like I've been knowing everybody, doing this now for 3 years. Or 4 years rather, and finally getting to see people in close and up in person. I met Greg for the first time at Fan Fest. That was incredible. Meeting Kevin for the first time. I look forward to meeting a lot of you in the future, man. It's going to be incredible. It's going to be really fun. And shout out to my man White Chocolate for coming up from Charleston, man. Let's hit another cat call. 252-228-5098.
What's up, C3? 89 J Stubbs here. Hope everybody's having
Stubbs.
a great day. Just calling to touch on some things. I saw today that Ikem Ekwonu is going to be the starting left tackle, which is good. Cody, you were on this last year, man. We should have had him play even 3 more games, sooner. We could have got more tape. But with that being said, I do like having 3 tackles on the team that can play right tackle or left tackle, so at the end of the day, it's upgraded and we have it locked in for at least the next 3 years. So I'm happy about that. I think it will all work out at the end of the day. So I'm happy we, can figure it out. But Matt Rhule, he has to pick a line and get it going because we got a month left, so they need some continuity. And the second thing is, I think on defense it's going to be up to pretty much the D-line because I think they can cover the secondary with packages with Brandon Smith. It seems like he's quick sideline to sideline, and we kind of been spoiled with that the past couple of years. Not a couple of years, but in the last couple of years we hadn't had it. So him being able to cover and the coverage we can have on the back end is just going to be up to that D-line. And I hope we can, it can hold up and stop the run and get to the running back or the quarterback because I got a feeling we're going to be blitzing like crazy because with the speed and the personnel we brought in. But anyway, guys, that's my 2 cents. And keep pounding. What's up, C3?
Yeah.
89 J Stubbs here.
Let me pause the call. Yeah, that's a fantastic call. I said when Steve Wilkes was our defensive coordinator that we utilized the blitz on defense a lot. And even though he's not our D coordinator, I think that, that's still Phil Snow. Knowing the speed that we have at the corner and safety position between Dante Jackson, CJ Henderson, Jaycee Horn, Jeremy Chin, there's a lot of speed at that position. Imagine those corner blitzes coming off the edge when you don't expect them. And we have these two big freak show strong linebackers in the form of Frankie Lulu and Brandon Smith. I'm telling you, man, our linebacking core might be a little bit better this year than we were giving it credit for because of those two dudes, Brandon Smith and Frankie Lulu. They've been incredible.
Oh man, I listen again. I'm not trying to continue to talk about this Patriots broadcast because it was god awful. Like when I tell you it was god awful, I'm not even exaggerating. How to a point to where one of the people said, I don't wish injury on every player on the opposing team's roster, just their stars. That is the characterization of what you're dealing with that. Anyway, but they were talking it was like almost every play. Brandon Smith was knocking the ball away from people, like causing fumbles and forcing incompletions and things like that. It was like, and they actually were like thoroughly impressed with what they were seeing from him. Just as the broadcast group, I thought that was pretty cool. Especially given that, I think he has a lot of upside. It's a lot of concern about whether, there's a lot of, I guess, developmental aspects to what his game is, from what people say. But at the end of the day, I think the dude has a raw talent that I think is going to be, a really big asset to this team.
Tony, you're muted.
You got the whole Panther Twitter community and creator community on tilt, bro. You got these mugs. You're in their head. Just want to put this out here. This is a 4-Man Rush put this out 1 hour ago on Twitter. This is between 4-Man Rush. This is just 2 tweets that just showed up on check my phone right here.
Yeah.
Has nothing to do with you. Your name is not said here. But it says this: it's amazing how Icky playing guard narrative has spread like wildfire, despite him taking no reps at guard since OTAs. And this is the response from Panther Nation Podcast. Bro, I was hella confused. Dude never took any reps at guard, and I was at camp. People had me doubting my damn self. Now, my question is this. Can you pull those clips up that we watched of Brady Christensen and Ekwonu? Were they not together on those 2 plays that you pulled up? And
what the 2 that I just showed?
Yeah, remember when they did well? Weren't they on the field together in that preseason game?
Yeah, they were on the field together for a while, Ekwonu and Christensen.
So
the ones I just showed were Elflin and Jordan getting destroyed.
Right, but I thought there's a clip floating around where they handle a stunt real well, and everybody's like, "Oh, that stunt would have destroyed us last year," which is true. Totally would have destroyed us last year. But my question is this my question back to these 2 tweets is this: is that were there any reps where Brady Christensen took at guard in OTAs? No. But then he went out and played guard in the preseason game.
Right. And looked good doing it.
Saying? right? I mean, so like that's my thing is that like that, like you're right, is those guys didn't take reps in training camp at guard, but they went out and played the preseason, didn't they? I mean, or am I wrong? Am I wrong that I saw Brady Christensen and Ekwonu play guard in that preseason game?
So Ekwonu, I don't believe playing guard at all, and that's like the
Okay,
that's the
but
real,
Brady Christensen did though, right? I
yes,
mean, I saw
and
them beside each other. I saw
he
the
did.
white dude there, unless it was
did.
a different white dude.
No, big number 70. That's Brady Christensen.
Okay.
He did play guard. And by the way, I was hesitant about Christensen's ability to play guard. I think he has looked good there, to the point that if they're going to make him play there, I think he can do it. But again, like when we're talking about this left tackle conversation, it goes to what Matt Rhule should be doing versus what he actually is doing. And it is not outside of the realm of logic that if Ikem Ekwonu is having a difficult time understanding the nuances of playing left tackle, but that would make sense. He's playing in the NFL now, and NC State didn't make him play a lot of true pass sets playing with the Wolfpack. So if Brady Christensen is better prepared for the nuances and the agility to play the left tackle position, it seems commonplace. Like you would at least give Icky some looks at left guard to use that physicality and strength and to kind of lesser the ease of access to him being able to jump onto the field and become a quality starter right away in his career. Whereas, especially week one, you're going to put Ikem Ekwonu on Myles and Garrett. Okay, you better be sure that he's prepared for that matchup, because that's one hell of a matchup as a welcome to the NFL match. So, yeah, they're right, Tony Dunn. They have not played Ikem Ekwonu at left guard at all. But it doesn't mean that they're right for going about it that way either.
All right, let's keep going.
All right. This is the last one I have, I think. Tell me if you heard this.
What up, C3? Jay issue.
What's up, Jay?
It's crazy how the fans know where certain players fit best than the head coach. I don't know if Matt Rhule take this shit as a joke, but it's nothing to play with. You chose between two teams for a bigger bag and can't bag it up. My man out there stressing. He can't even get his head like straight. He drafted good his 2 years. Scott came in, got some good picks as well. But fast forward to this year, Icky deserves that last position, regardless of a position of everybody thinking he'll be a pro left guard. Wouldn't it be a waste of not a waste particularly because Icky is that dude, but for left guard, wouldn't that be a little too high? Yeah, top 10. And he has to battle Brady. And I watched that first preseason game, and Brady got pushed back so far at left guard. Oh, my goodness. I'm just ready for a different coach, a proven coach. I don't know where else to go. It sucks. Matt Rhule he just has to go. Keep pounding. What else, C3?
Keep pounding.
Jay issue.
Hey.
Oh, let me pause it. All right,
Can I mention at the beginning of this, I agree with him. I feel like this caller is where I'm at with Matt Rhule, or where I've been from the beginning, and he started out by saying the same thing, which was the first thing for Matt Rhule for me that was a red flag, was that you chose the bigger bag of the two teams. You didn't come to the NFL to coach and be successful on a team you thought you were passionate for and you wanted to win. You chose the bigger bag of the two teams. and you still can't be successful. And I think it's what this caller's saying, at least what you're starting out with. And I agree with that. And from the beginning with Matt Rhule, for me, that's been the issue, is that you didn't show me you came in with any passion to be a Carolina Panthers head coach. And you haven't since you came in. And I'm right there where he is.
He's such a nerd, Matt Rhule. I hate to say it. I think he's a total dork.
Yeah, I do too.
Yeah.
I'm not a
And
fan.
I'm a nerd. Look, and I know some people are gonna be like, "What's wrong with being?" Look, I'm a nerd too. I guess I'm a dork. I love to read. I'm a fucking historian, dude. Like, what else? I mean, like, that's a quintessential nerd. I get on the internet and podcast for fun. That's my hobby. My best friends are people that I've met like one time. I'm a nerd. But what I'm just saying is this: he's a dork, dude. I saw that, man. The Camp Confidential was just as bad. You know who's not a nerd? The Tabor dude, our special teams coach. Man, he's cool. He's making dollar bets with these mugs. He's making them pay up. I'm telling you. No, look, as it comes back, is that this was just what Cody has presented to everybody was a thought experiment about what the offensive line could be. And here, if you want to get all up in arms about the value, I'm not a draft dude. I'm telling you, man, when I first started the website 10 years ago, we did a lot of this crap. You're trying to get content, you're trying to do, and the draft period makes a great time to just content driven shit. But you know what I hated about it is that you could write a bazillion pages. Actually, the whole internet does it. They write a bazillion forecasts and only like 1% of it is right. Think about that. It's like, imagine if you spent 99% of your time only to be right 1% of the time. How futile of an exercise that is. So that's what drove me nuts about it, right? It's just like, I almost just want to wait until we get who we get. I mean, I'll do a little bit, like, what are some positions we want and just going down. But this is the money ball part that the draft nerds have put into effect. The money ball part just says this, is you can't draft these players at this position and it not be valuable. Is that, you know what? But if they're all pro, they're all pro. I tell you this, is you could draft a wide receiver in the top 10 like John Ross and he sucks. Or you could draft Zach Martin in the top 10 and he's awesome at his position. Who got the better value? Right?
Yeah.
And so I don't really care. I think the end of the day is we need to stop focusing this conversation on Ikem Ekwonu or Brady Christensen and say, why the hell would you put Michael Jordan beside either one of those fools?
Yeah,
You know, that's the real question right here is like, who gives a shit about those dudes? You know, like about that. The real problem is this Michael Jordan thing. And
Pat Elflein.
Yeah. All right, let's go to the next call. Let me make sure that this comes through and you can hear it.
I got one more.
What's up, fellas?
Yeah,
I love it. We got W and football is kind of back. It makes me happy. Somebody briefly brought it up. I can't remember, but this is year 3 in rebuilding. And I know we're not all stupid, but when you rebuild something, you tear it down and you start again. You build a new foundation. And I was just there thinking, like, what foundation do we have to build on? And forgive my ignorance, but I don't see anything. Maybe it's another topic for another show, or some of y'all can touch on it briefly, but I just don't. I don't know, man. I don't know. I love my team, but I'm just at whims with it, dude. I don't know, but you know what, motherfuckers, we're gonna keep pounding every single GD one of us.
Hey.
Love you all. Peace.
Man, thank you for the call. Thank you for the call. Smash the thumbs up button. Be a part of the show, 252-228-5098. Here's what I'm going to give you my hat. I'm going to hang my hat on about what the foundation of this team is. Young and fast. That's what we are. Is at the end of the day, if we have to blow this whole bitch up, if we got to blow this whole thing up at the end of the season, the great news is we got a lot of young players on low dollar contracts.
Mm-hmm.
And I know people have been telling me somehow there is this narrative that it's emerged that we don't have a good cap situation next year. I don't believe it. I don't believe it one bit. I don't know how our cap situation is going to be worse next year than it is this year, given the fact that we haven't really given anybody any deals other than Dante Jackson and DJ Moore, which guess what?
Or Darnold 19. Yeah.
But he's going to be gone by then. You know what
I'm
I'm saying?
saying that's what's bad this year. Yeah.
Yeah. None of the deals. The only two, I can only think of two other big deals on this team, and that are Christian McCaffrey and Shaq Thompson. And both of those are probably one, you probably don't want to get out of the Christian McCaffrey one at this point, but you could maybe or something. Is maybe, but I bet you're hitting a point with Shaq's deal where you could probably get out of it.
What about Ian Thomas? Didn't he get a good deal too?
No, I think it was just front load.
Okay.
Yeah. I don't think it's anything. So I don't think we're hemmed up or locked up with anybody.
Okay.
I think we're young. I mean, if you think about this, the guy we extended, DJ Moore, is only 24 years old.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Think about that. He got his second Now, DJ Moore might end up making more money than anybody in the whole history of the world when it comes to. Think about it. What if he signs 3 contracts like that? What if he goes and balls for the next 3 years? He hits those double-digit touchdowns twice in the next 3 years, and he says, "You know what? It's time for y'all to extend me again." And then he balls. He has a 2-year period. Like, he has a window over the next 10 years where he can negotiate 2 more contracts. I think that's what I'd be. So that would be that's our foundation. And somebody also brought this up on Twitter to me. They wanted me to comment on the defensive tackle situation. No one's talking about that. And I do think maybe this is not a plus. So I'm just looking at that is we're young there. We got Leonidas, whatever his name is, and Derek Brown, and that's it right now. That's it. I know you guys. I know there's a lot of names that y'all want. Big Snack, Phil Hoskins. You want these other people. But that's what we were talking about with Bravion Roy the year before and this and that. And now nobody cares about him. So I think we're young. And I think if we have to blow this up, we got a lot of talent for the next group to work with without them being hemmed up on the money. So that's my answer to that question. Let's go on to the next call, Cody, as I quickly download it. Do you think that was a good answer? I felt like that was a pretty good.
Yeah, I mean, no, look, I think that was a good answer.
Yeah.
Every year we talk about this. We have so many good, talented young players that there is no reason for the Carolina Panthers to be a 5-win team every year. I mean, that's why a lot of us have really soured on Matt Rhule, because we feel like we've really gotten the dose of who he is as a head coach. It's prove-it season. He can still prove us wrong and, turn us into just a bunch of haters. But at the end of the day, there is a consistent mismanagement of this football team. In the name of stuff like competition at spots where we know there's not really a competition. So it's nonsense, man.
Oh.
And I do think that if we do hire a new head coach, we are going to have a very talented young roster that some coach is going to want to be a part of.
Mm-hmm. Hey, funny story, just kind of sidebar here. I don't know if y'all listen to the Around the NFL podcast, but it's a great podcast. They do a segment where they're going through and they're putting coaches on the hot seat, and they have 3 levels. And Matt Rhule was the only coach on the number 1 level on the hot seat.
Ooh.
Of all coaches in the NFL. They went through every team, and Matt Rhule was the only coach on the number 1 level hot seat in the NFL. I was like, oh, that's pretty funny.
Yeah. I believe it. All right, let's go to the next call.
Yeah. So on those questions, no, I don't believe Rhule's mismanaging and / manufacturing, competition, because obviously,
did we skip his call?
People know they're going to get fired. They work harder, right? They don't want to lose their job.
Hold on. I think I might have. Let me see if I skipped his first part. So I see two numbers. Sorry. We've had some funky issues. You know what the irony about this is we were talking about, no, this is a different number. Never mind. Oh, the irony is we were talking about how StreamYard was so seamless, and tonight we've had a bunch of issues.
The NFL, man. You know, if you don't want to be here, then you can get the fuck out. But the offense, it's gonna be good. This Friday is gonna be a test. The Belichick, expect this is a test. This is a dress rehearsal right here, to be honest with you. Dress rehearsal. Expect a lot of zero blitzes. Bill Belichick already got Sam's number. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
He's playing Pac-Man with this dude, you know, have Sam Darnold seeing ghosts. Baker's asset against the zero blitz, like Deshaun Watson, is to throw it deep. And you can study tape on that, my friend. Bill Belichick has only thrown zero blitz at Deshaun Watson one time, maybe twice. Okay. And what does Deshaun do? He'll take that one-on-one matchup. Throw it deep, and expect Baker to do that. Sam's not going to do that, but expect Baker to do that. So we're going to see. We're going to see Friday, my friend.
It's a good time. Thanks for the call. Yeah, he was saying he did not manufacture like the competition, but they really just kind of, if you can't take the heat, get out the kitchen type mentality. But this brings up Friday. On Friday, we have a great show that Cody has cultivated over the past year and a half. Is this your full year, or is it more than that now?
We've gone over a full year now that we've been doing the Friday free for all. All my freaks over there keeping it strong on the Friday free for all. My band of merry men, we're like the Myrmidon. I'm like Achilles over there. We're charging into war, representing our Carolina.
You're doing your hakas and you do your hakas.
Oh yeah,
you know what? You guys should have developed you should start the show or have a haka segment on that where you guys all dance into that. But the Friday it's at 7:00. You can check out the Friday free throw, and if you want to be a part of it, this is a great time. Not only can you, like in this show, you can call in and be a part of the show, or you can interact in the chat, or you can stomp on that thumbs up button. But on Friday, you can come in and be a part of the actual conversation and be one of the hosts, right? And join the crew. And Cody has developed this legion of football talkers that's been amazing. Now, the cool part about this is the Friday free for all is going to dovetail with the Carolina Panthers preseason game. As they are playing the New England Patriots. So what we're going to do is merge the Friday free-for-all and the C3 Panthers post-game show and just make them into one watch-along post-game show me game, right, where we get to see some of these things right here. And, one of the things that was surprising to me about week one of the preseason as you look around the league is I thought that they played the starters a lot more than I expected in week one. So kind of interested to see after joint practices for a full week. I would think that Carolina is really trying to learn the most about their team in preseason game 2. This is a game I think that now has become what you remember in the old model, the 4-game model, it was preseason game 3 was the one where they would play the stuff. That was the one you wanted to watch out of all 4 to see who the team mostly and mainly was. That's this week. And so what we invite you to do on Friday is to watch that game alongside of us as we do a watch along. And not only is it a watch along, but you can be part of the watch along and join in. So check us out on Friday. It's going to be great.
Absolutely, man. And I want to reiterate that we don't really do watch alongs very often, but this coincided in a good way where the Panthers preseason game is during the Friday free-for-all. So, we're going to be live reacting to all the action in the football game. If you have an opinion that you want to share, you'll be able to jump in and hang out and tell us what you think live on the show. We'll be filtering people in and out like your boy is ought to do. And it's going to be an incredible time, man. Tell us if you like it. Tell us if you enjoy the content. And hit that like button, man. We're so close to 4,000 subscribers. You're helping this podcast grow tremendously, and we can't wait to show you all some of the things that we have coming down the pipe for each and every one.
All right, let's go on to the next call, and then we still got to do Camp Confidential is the last, I think, thing on the agenda. I've got a lot of good, or at least I've got a lot of thoughts on it. All right, to the next call. He called in twice. 4-second call. Silence. Second call.
It's not too late for the team to gel if they'll start playing the starters right now and let them grow together. But up to this point, I'm okay with it. But it's time to make the change and put everybody in there that they think's going to start and let them learn to work together.
Well, yeah, it's about continuity at this point, or at least a lot of people are trying to, or hoping for, to see some development continuity. But this is actually something we probably should not be really that surprised about with this year's team. There were more questions than answers going into this season. There was, if Cody has said it over and over, it's a prove it season for even the people that we didn't think had to prove it anymore. Or, like, I mean, in the past, there were guys, it's like this, is like, and maybe that to kind of connect this back to the earlier caller, what's the foundation of this team? There just doesn't seem to be like one thing that you could say is our constant, right? There is potential, there's youth, there's speed, there's potential, there's Sims. It's like, who's the constant? It was like this. It was just like our linebacker group was the dopest. Like, we knew that. It didn't matter what anything else about the team. For 10 years, we just been like, our linebackers are fine. We didn't even care, right? And that's the thing, is that we probably should have seen this season is going to be one where we have to see it to understand it. It has to exist for it to, it's like, or else, because like they don't even know. Even Matt Rhule doesn't even know. 252-228-5098.
Real quick, man, it's me, C-Dog.
Sit down. What's up, bro?
Okay, what's up to everybody? I don't see why everybody is surprised with this Ikem Brady Christensen situation with the left tackle and left guard situation, and the Sam Darnold and Baker Mayfield situation, as far as not picking a starter and who's going to be the the number one quarterback for the team. We need to sit back and let this last year of foolishness and mediocre football is out of Charlotte.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't see it. Everybody was so excited and everything. I'm not surprised that Baker Mayfield was fucking up today against the Patriots. The Patriots have a top-notch defense, But I don't think we can really get excited about, some of these defensive rookies that played well last week and everything,
Yeah.
I mean, I really don't even have nothing to be excited about. But before I go, man, anytime you come in here, man, make sure you wipe your feet off on the motherfucking like button. Make sure you got that subscribe, man. They do it here every Tuesday, every goddamn Friday, and they do the pre-game show and the show after the game. They always got them putting their work. It could be with their families or wives or whatever. So anytime you come in here, don't be no fucking weirdo or peeping Tom. Hit the like button and subscribe. Y'all boys, keep up the great work. It's a great show as always, and everybody have a good night. Keep pounding. Real quick, man. Shout out to my nigga goddamn G-Baby. G-Baby the fucking goat. Good night.
Yo, shout out to how you not love C-Dog, bro.
I know.
C-Dog always got love. Always makes people hit the like and subscribe. We could stand to have a few more C-Dogs, man. And do that thing, man. And hey, C-Dog says he's going to have his own podcast soon. And he'll be able to rep his shit on here too, man. That's what we do, man. Rising tide lifts all boats. Shout out to C-Dog. And do what that man said. Beat the hell out of that like button, y'all. Come on now.
All right, let's see. This one's only 8 seconds. I feel like this might be either me see. Maybe it's just a question.
I just want to know, why is Bill Belichick praising Matt Rhule for what?
For what? Oh, I have a. All right, so I wish we would have
Did you
gotten the
hear
back
this?
end of that call. That was it.
Well, Bill Belichick said that him and Matt Rhule are very similar because they both love football. They're football guys. And people just felt that was, man, what a quote, loving that.
That's man, look, that's exactly what Bill Belichick says about anybody he doesn't know their name.
All right.
But you know what I'm saying? Like, I mean, that was just his like he's a pro. I'm a pro. We came out here to have practice. We both want to win. Like, he don't know nothing about Matt Rhule. He don't give a shit about Matt Rhule.
He's just
that
being
no
cordial.
praise. It was just like, I don't know this dude. I'm not gonna.
We both eat
knock
food.
Yeah.
we both drink.
Yeah. We
Like,
both breathe air from
That's
time
right.
to time.
Football coaches, so we must both like football. Of course. Bill Belichick, the only time the most praise, who's the most praise he ever gave for anybody you ever heard? I'll tell you.
Cam
Newton,
Yeah.
bro.
He
I was
always
gonna
talked
say,
about how
'cause
dangerous.
he never beat Cam.
He's
No,
like,
never did.
"Fuck,
And
I
he always
hate
talked
playing
about
Cam."
how dangerous Cam Newton was. It's not a surprise that they brought Cam Newton in when they did, man. But
Yeah.
He never beat
Deshaun
him
Watson
even as a Patriot. Cam continued to beat the Patriots.
Yeah, it's true.
Yeah,
Somebody
man.
put this. I did see a stat that Cam Newton had only played 35 games in the last 3 seasons, but had 21 touchdowns still. Like, what the fuck? Like, I'm like, my man. All right.
That's insane, man.
All right, let's go to the next call. Only a couple more calls, and then we'll do this camp.
Yo, C3. What's
Last
good?
call, actually.
It's JD. Hey,
JD.
I was trying to say this for the Friday free for all, but I wanted to get y'all opinion on a thought I had. And for me, the craziest part about what I'm gonna say is if the guy stays healthy for the entire season, and I'm talking about CMC. So I looked it up online, did some calculations, like little basic calculations, and I figured it's very possible that if CMC is healthy for the entire upcoming season, the dude would only need to average around 70 yards rushing and around 50 yards receiving. Like, if he's getting somewhere around 20 touches, like 5 targets in the passing game, 15 rushing attempts a game, if he's averaging around 70 yards rushing, which I feel like is more than capable for CMC to do, and he's averaging around 50 yards receiving, which again, I feel like CMC is more than capable of doing, if he's able to stay healthy for the entire season, he could repeat and put up another 1,000 season, which I would love to see. But
Without
yeah, I just want
question,
to get
man.
y'all opinion on that. How insane or like how out there would that be, or does it sound out?
It does not sound out there
I'm
at
out.
all. I mean, that's
Keep
the
out.
whole thing. He would have done that last year and the year before, arguably, if he would have just been available. And I think that the injury predicament and the problem, or whatever, this narrative that's existed, is a little bit overblown, or a lot overblown. I'm going to die on that hill. I think that the Panthers have protected him. They have put him in a bubble wrap when they knew that their seasons, like, this is the one star, the one constant we have, is that they shut them, that once they realized that the season wasn't going to be as what they thought it was, I think they shut him down. And if we were on a playoff run, if we were on a Super Bowl chase, Christian McCaffrey would have not gone to the IR designation. He's not had those major injuries. And the internet, the football internet, the fantasy football world loves their recency confirmation, their recency bias. And at the end of the day is that Christian McCaffrey, the year after he did the 1,000, was the unanimous number 1 player in the league, the unanimous number 1 fantasy football player on the earth. But you missed 12 games, and now you're not. You're out of the conversation. You do it again, you're out of the conversation. He's still young. To me, I just don't know if his head's in the game, though.
Yeah.
That's the real question.
Christian?
My man is in love.
Oh no, you're
Not
making
even that.
He's in love.
dude.
He's also a producer on a series that they had about a German football team. Did you see that?
No, I did not know that.
Yeah, it's going to be released on Apple TV in 2000, or I'm sorry, on the 19th, I think.
Does Christian McCaffrey love football? That needs to be. Oh, if he was Cam Newton, that's what they would say.
Listen, this man is 5'11", maybe 210 pounds, and he does absolutely everything. We have forgotten how good Christian McCaffrey is in pass protection. How about this? He's better than Michael Jordan and Pat Elflein. Okay, this man is a legitimate asset in pass protection. People seem to have forgotten that. But then the all-around versatility of what Christian McCaffrey can do. This man is a receiving threat. He takes incredible routes. His ability to track the football in the air, make adjustments, and make the catch is basically like one of the elite receivers in the NFL. On top of that, even when our offensive line has been absolutely trash, this man has been averaging 5 yards a carry or something. Outrageous. Like, this dude is a monster. Christian McCaffrey is a monster. We may have felt like it was overpaid, but dude, for what Christian McCaffrey does to this offense and how we fall off of a cliff every year after Christian McCaffrey gets hurt, dude, it's not a surprise, man. This is one of our best football players. And if Matt Rhule and James Campen can figure out this offensive line, there is no reason why CMC shouldn't be a contender to have another 1,000 type of football year this year.
There is one reason why he wouldn't have a 1,000 type season this year. Is if we're that bad and we end up not running the ball at all in the end of the game, and we're not. He might be a 1,000-yard receiver, but there is a potential that he wouldn't be a 1,000-yard rusher. He might have more receiving yards than rushing yards if our defense isn't able to stop anybody, and if our offense is that god awful.
Yeah. Before we move on, I have a question for everyone. I put this in the show description. I wanted us to talk about it. I didn't make a infographic for this question, but are we coddling Jaycee Horn? Because Tony, you've been of the mindset that you can't coddle Christian McCaffrey. That, hey man, he has to be out there and be prepared and play. You cannot treat him with kid gloves. Well, all the reports are now they're giving Jaycee Horn about 25 plays or snaps per practice. And I believe it was Jeremy Chin said, man, I feel bad for the coach that has to tell Jaycee Horn to get off the field. This man doesn't want to get off the field. Are we putting kid gloves on Jaycee Horn? Like, do we just need to let this man go out there and play? Or do you think that we're doing the proper thing by holding him back a little bit to make sure that he's 100% healthy for the NFL season?
No, I don't think we're coddling him at this point. This doesn't matter as much. I do think this is one of those places where competition didn't matter for Jaycee Horn. It's like he didn't have to earn it. And I mean, he was a star. It's just funny to me as Ekwonu had to go out there and prove it in a game. Jaycee Horn didn't last year. But no, I think he's that valuable. You need him throughout the season. We saw Westry. We cut Westry. Not that he was going to be a contributor. As our secondary is supposed to be. That's what we built to this defense, kind of from the back to the front, really, is what we're kind of building at this point. Maybe we're going to go after pass rushers later on, over the next couple of years. But we need them to be stout. I think they have no concerns about him other than his availability. And the worst thing you can do is to overstress it. I think the good news is you saw him playing. I was worried in that first practice, sore foot, this and that. But I think he played in these joint practices today. He did some one-on-one. So, I mean, I think it's okay. I don't think they've handled him as kid gloves as they have handled Christian McCaffrey. But I am more concerned about if Christian McCaffrey loves football still. Because, I mean, you know what one thing is the good old Al Pacino said.
I just couldn't hear it.
Why'd I get mixed up with that?
Can't hear this at all?
I can hear it. I can now. Yeah.
And you got your hair all the way up it.
Oh, good line from Heat. Oh, go back. You couldn't hear that at all?
I heard the last little bit of it.
Yeah, the very last bit.
This is the best line from Heat. Because she got a great ass, and you got your head all the way up it. Go back and watch Heat. Fantastic. It's actually hard to get. You can't stream it. So it's an old, I don't know, maybe 99 type film. One of the few films that Robert De Niro and Al Pacino. Actually, I think the only film where they're in the same scene together. I don't know. Somebody have to quote me on that
Robert
one.
De Niro and Al Pacino?
Yeah, because they were in Godfather 2 together, but not
in the same scenes. Yeah.
Right. They have this. It's a fantastic, it's Michael Mann movie. It's incredible. One of the awesomest things about this is you're like, why is Al Pacino so overacting this whole movie? I mean, she got a great eye. I mean, his eyes are just bulging out of his fucking head. Turns out that part of the script is that they cut this part out, but the cop was supposed to be a coked up cop. And they just left that so he was playing into so it's pretty wild. I just watched that today. Actually, I still have 50. It's long as fuck. But Olivia Culpa, bro. I mean, I would just retire, homie. I'd just be like, I'm done.
But dude, if you had
Mantle and be like,
got a
coin in.
he is far from the only NFL player to have a beautiful woman on his arm. Okay, I don't want to hear any excuses for anyone about anything. The song remains the same. Every single player this year needs to come out like a man possessed with something to prove. Every single player on our football team, man. And, I kind of do think, we have to be consistent. If we're not going to treat Christian McCaffrey with kid gloves, I really don't think that we need to do that with Jaycee Horn yet. If this man's ready to go, let him play, let him prepare. I really do want us to be prepared to hit the ground running when we play Cleveland. And I really don't think that Matt Rhule is putting us in a position to do so. Hope I'm wrong, but I really don't feel like that's what he's doing.
All right, final call. It's a long one, I think. Oh, he's catching his breath.
Hey, this is me, C-Dog, man. Call them one more time, man. My last
C-Dog?
call them tonight, I promise. But all these motherfuckers pumped up about the Baker train, Baker Mayfield. You know what I'm saying? If Baker Mayfield was all that, why didn't the Cleveland Browns keep his ass? Why did they got them go get a motherfucker who ain't even played in about 2 years? You know what I'm saying? They had over 23 allegations. Come on, man, he's a bum. That's why. You can't cut it, man. But we gonna see. I can't wait till the goddamn season start. For all you goddamn Baker fans. So when we come out here and don't win probably for no more than 5 games, everybody come back down to goddamn reality again. You know what I'm saying? Because this shit is just fucking. It's insanity, man. Matt Rhule been doing this shit. This is the 3rd year doing this shit. And y'all still got that drinking the Kool-Aid. Don't forget, Baylor got better when Matt Rhule left. Baylor won a major championship after Matt Rhule. Don't forget that. Come on, man. What has he done in college? Nothing. He's not goddamn Jimmy Johnson. He don't have a fucking Pete Carroll. What the fuck? Even Pete Carroll wasn't great when he first came to the NFL. So the first time he came, he was trash. And he went back to the goddamn college. He wasn't good till he came back the second time around with the goddamn Seahawks. Yeah,
I like my man. He had to take a
word up. So I got just tell y'all the truth, man. Like I've been doing the last 2 years. That rule ain't gonna get you no more than 5 wins. What is Baker Mayfield gonna do? Yeah, man, Baker Mayfield not even motherfucking Cam Newton. Man, Cam Newton carried the offense to a goddamn Super Bowl. But what the fuck is this little dude? He's 6'1". What is he gonna do? Man, nobody fears Baker Mayfield. Nobody. No defense out here is going to be thinking about Baker Mayfield. Going to fear him on Sunday. Come on, man. I just don't understand.
All right. Thank you, C Dog. I appreciate it. My man like this is he's like got to take
some
a
types of stats or something.
he's got to hit the
even the season he went to the goddamn playoffs. They had over 2,400 yards rushing. Nick Chubb and got Kareem Hunt both had over 1,000 yards rushing that year. Then when he beat the Steelers in the playoffs, the first game, man, Big Ben was washed. Big Ben couldn't push the ball out of.
All right, he got cut off, but thank you, C Dog. You know what he was gonna say next is like, you know what's free? Hitting the like, hitting the
motherfucking like button. That's right. That's right.
Question.
Look, I just
Go
want
ahead.
to say this. I agree with C Dog 1,000%. It's prove it season. I hope I'm wrong, but I don't feel like Baker Mayfield is going to be the answer. I don't feel like Matt Rhule is the answer. Just based on what I've seen in the past, I don't believe it yet. I want to be proven wrong. I badly want to be proven wrong. I don't feel like I am. And I feel like I echo the sentiments of a lot of other people who are really pissed off at Matt Rhule. I put this on Twitter the other day that it feels like Scott Fitterer blesses us with an incredible offseason. All these free agents and draft picks that we love, we get pumped about. And then here comes Matt Rhule just squashing our dreams every single time with his decision making and his preferred quarterback. So I agree with C Dog. Again, I hope I'm wrong.
We got a few last topics to go. One, I'm just gonna put this off topic for you guys for the chat. Best bank robbery movies. You guys can we got some good things going here because I brought up Heat. Point Break is one of those. We brought up The Town. Inside Man is real good. That one's real good back in the day. All right, yeah, Point Break, the original.
Would Die Hard with a Vengeance be considered a bank robbery movie?
Oh, actually, could all of the Die Hards in theory be considered semi-bank robbery?
Yeah, because you got to throw those up there.
If you ever steal bearer bonds, I go ahead and throw you up in that. But here, let's.
Have you ever? I don't know if you would classify this as a bank robbery movie. Have you ever seen The Panic Room with Jared Leto? Yeah, to me that's
where it's that's not a bank robbery movie.
It's not a bank, but it's
I
like
love that movie. I love that movie. That's
a great movie.
Watch it my wife is like, why do you like this movie so much? It actually crazy that director was doing shit with like kind of like drones and like all these cameras all over. It's kind of like one of those movies where you have one set. I think that's awesome is when you make a movie and you're like, hey, how much is your production going to cost? We just need to rent this house for a week.
Right.
It's like my favorite is Phone Booth. It's like the whole fucking movie. It's like this. He ain't like, man, it's like this. That's the cheapest fucking movie to make in the world. No car crashes, no none of that.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Next topic is we'll go to this one. This is a quick one.
Yeah.
The NFL Top 100 is coming out. I felt like this looks better on my phone than it does on this screen. This graphic.
It's not made for this type of resolution.
Okay. I've been trying to do some like stuff like this because I feel like we haven't been as prevalent on Instagram and instead of me spending 2 hours writing a story about which I did that too. I didn't spend 2 hours. I wrote it on my phone, but I was like, hey, these little graphics, maybe they will pop a little bit. So I'm trying to do more stuff like this. Brian Burns, though, is that the NFL Top 100 voted on by players is a big thing that people love to watch. They go through what they do a couple of 10 every night or something like that, or I don't know how frequent they do. But they went to the 60 mark recently. Brian Burns, first Panther to make the list, comes in at 76. Fourth year player, right? In his fourth season, 7 sacks, 7.5 sacks, 2 9-sack season, has yet to crest double digits necessarily, but quickly becoming the face of the franchise in some ways. He does crack the top 100 ahead of players like Leonard Williams was one. And there was one other one I put. There's one other, Leonard Williams and Jonathan Allen. He's ahead of Jonathan Allen too on the top 100. Is DJ Moore next? Is my question.
Yeah, I do think he's probably next. I think he deserves to be. I've been watching the. Nah, see, that's the thing. I don't think CMC because he was injured.
Yeah.
But by the way, it's again, this is not really like the best list. It's just football players. So like 1 year
It's
they
more
had
popularity contest.
Yeah, they had JJ
But
Watt
it's voted on by
the
the players, though.
Right, which is
Yeah,
more
but, like-
popularity contest. It's like a prom king or queen. It's whoever
And-
everybody thinks is the most popular. I mean, I'm not saying they're not good, but if you're the most popular player at that point in time amongst other players, you're gonna
Right,
get a
right,
lot more
right. But I
votes,
mean,
you
like,
know?
I would say DJ Moore should be ahead of Brian Burns, right?
I agree. I think you should too.
And Christian McCaffrey should also be ahead of Brian Burns. But I would understand if like he doesn't make the list this year just because he's ultimately been irrelevant for 2 years.
How about this? Brian Burns, even though we haven't seen him quite put it all together yet, he might have the most upside out of any player on our football
I agree.
team.
Oh,
Like,
not out of any player.
I mean that. Out of any player on our football team. Look, how many sacks did he manage last year? Like,
9.
what, 8 or 9?
He's a 9 guy. Like, here's the
Right.
thing: is that if he would have, and how many plays did we see him
Yes.
almost get home?
Yeah, he could have had 14.
Almost
That's
get
my
home.
point. He
Is
could have
that
easily
if
had
you're a
16
13
sacks
sack
last
guy
year.
versus a 9 sack guy, it's like a different stratosphere.
Yes.
Right. So he just has to crest the double digits. But the same thing with DJ Moore, though. The only reason DJ Moore isn't more highly thought of is because his touchdown. It's 4 touchdowns, 4 touchdowns, 4 touchdowns. It's not the catches. It's not the effort. It's not the yak. It's none of that. It's just the sexy stat that scores the points. Brian Burns is close. He's on the cusp. I think the player, though, I think Jeremy Chin's the best. I think he
might be.
So
Yeah,
hard, but you know,
a
there's
lot
like
of people
7
think
safeties on the top 100 list.
a
So
lot of
he
people
might
think
be on this.
that it's between those two, and you made that point. Is that look how many sacks he almost had last year.
Yeah.
What were we talking about all last year? If only he was able to finish some of those rushes. Go ahead.
If he makes that first sack in that Dallas game against Dak Prescott at the very beginning of the game where Dak Prescott got away, I think that game changes and maybe our season changes. Our season changed on that play right there. I can call it like Brian Burns almost got Dak Prescott on a 3rd and long, I think, at the very beginning of the game. And they ended up getting that first down and going on from there and beating the crap out of us. I think if he gets that sack, I know it sounds weird depending on one, but I think that play right there is where the season turned around.
This is definitely a game of momentum. Like, I mean, I think there is reality that you can draw parallels to one play causing a ripple effect in our season.
Mm-hmm.
I think that I think we could all probably go back to 2018 or whenever it was when TJ Watt destroyed Cam Newton's shoulder. Right. Now that had a little bit more immediate impact as far as Cam Newton having an ability to throw to where he had to have Taylor Heineke come in here and throw his Hail Marys when they needed to throw a Hail Mary. I think that you're absolutely right. I think there is a potential for one play like that to have derailed, if nothing else, that game, but definitely propelled us into a state of just mediocrity.
Right.
I know
That's
Cody
Marcus
loves
Spiral.
to dig in on hills. I know he loves to man the hill. And, that's going to be one of our great T-shirts one day. If we could get a C3 artist, like if we could get an artist to draw this one idea up for me, I have this fantastic idea of Cody on the top of the hill in his wheelchair with all of us like riding on it with him. And him driving it. I think it would be the most, at least just the image would be so dope because Cody will die on that hill. But I tell you, there's one motherfucking hill I will die on.
What's
and
that?
those plays that you're talking about, those momentum plays,
Yeah.
Graham Gano is responsible
Oh no.
for 2 of them, motherfuckers. 2 of them. We could have reduced the Super Bowl game to a 3-point deficit, right? At halftime. I think it was halftime or the third quarter. Missed the field goal. Could have been a 3-point game at that point. Changes the whole dynamic of a defensive game to where you got to score touchdowns rather, like a field goal could tie it up. Just completely of a defensive contest. A 3-point and a 7-point game is a fucking completely different thing. And then the very next game, game one. 2016, Cam Newton leads us down the field to win the game, for an opportunity to win the game against the headhunting ass Denver Broncos that just beat us in the Super Bowl. Graham Gano misses the field goal. We lose. And the 2016 season, who was our left tackle that ended up getting the concussion? That was the long
Michael Orr.
Everything went bad. Cam walked into the end zone. Remember, he walked into the end zone. He tried to showboat into the end zone against Atlanta. He got popped, demolished. Yeah, and it was like concussion. Like everything went wrong. Those 2 kicks could have literally changed the trajectory of our entire fucking organization, and that's why I hate Graham Gano. I get that. I don't like Graham Gano.
Jericho Cartry caught the football.
Yeah, he did. Yes, he did.
Okay. So last thing. All right. So we got the top 100. The last kind of subject, I think. I mean, we got to do the ice up picks. But Camp Confidential. And by the way, this layout, Cody, we got to try to mimic this exact screen layout right here.
Okay.
Remember this. Somebody marked down this slide because the graphic in the top left is just above us.
Okay.
We get the little. We're sitting here talking about production. Some of it we're limited to by StreamYard. Some of the stuff like that's kind of stuff that we're talking about behind the scenes. So good stuff. Email us at carolinacatchronicles@gmail.com. We love that you guys care about the show enough to give us suggestions about how to improve it. I do anyway. There's this great author I had that I follow, and she said that she was writing this. She was like, wrote this book, and this lady came up to her and she said, "I love your book, but I hate the way it ends. And now you have to write a sequel, and this is what needs to happen." And the lady goes, "I fucking love this woman because she embraced my work so much that
she thought about another way for it to end."
Well, yeah, like she became a part of it. So, like, to me, that's a compliment, man. So look at this. Mark this slide down, this exact slide, this sizing of this picture, and this, Cody, just right time, right place. Sorry.
No, you're right. No, 1,000%.
My brain went crazy. Camp Confidential, Brooke, and this is this the third or how long has Carolina been doing this? I don't know. I mean, I feel like it's about the third year maybe they've done this. Maybe it's longer. I feel like we did the all or nothing with Amazon one year. I don't know how long Camp Confidential has been out, but this is at least the third one.
I want to say like 2018.
Okay.
Like maybe around 2017, 18, around that time, they've been doing Camp Confidential. And yeah, people look forward to it now. I mean, we end up finding out a lot of tidbits. Last year, we pretty much knew the entire draft process, of Scott Fitterer and Matt Rhule because of a lot of the things that we saw in Camp Confidential. So, they're very revealing. I've noticed a lot of people are kind of down on this Camp Confidential. I'm not going to lie. Like, Matt Rhule is Matt Rhule to me. I never.
All right, let's start with that.
Yeah,
the first scene is him giving and maybe it's not the first scene. I think they do the welcome or whatever, but I'm just trying to think of my points right away. I went off on a tangent a few weeks ago or months ago, and I just fucking unloaded on Matt Rhule about being a total nerd. And people were like, Tony, have you heard yourself? Do you? And they brought some great points. I'm a nerd, but his talk, his rah-rah speech, and this kind of goes to it, is that we saw that halftime speech of Ron Rivera in that 2017 season, in that very game that CK was mentioning with the shoulder. And I was ready to run through the fucking door for Ron Rivera. He looked at Dante Jackson. He's like, you fucked up, but you know what? Let's go fucking pussy. You know, he's just man's man. Matt Rhule looked like a teacher talking up there, and I'm a teacher, where nobody's listening. And it was, I don't know if I want to say it's a stale message, but my man said this. He said, don't call your girlfriends. Don't call your agents. Go and win the competition. I feel like Matt Rhule almost believes he's living in a more important universe than he is. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know. I just didn't think. I don't think it was a bad speech. I don't think it was horrible. But at the same time, I just found it like dorky as fuck.
Well, the thing that is interesting to me is the idea of competition. I get, right? There's nothing wrong with wanting competition when it's needed, right? He's got this mindset that everybody needs to earn their job. Well, the reality is, again, as I mentioned last week, some of these guys being drafted in the top 10, some of these guys having great careers up to this point, they've earned that position. Just because they haven't earned it in your offense doesn't mean they haven't earned it. Like, I'm honestly starting to think, like, I try to draw parallels to my life, right? If everything I did was constantly a fight for my job, I don't want to be there anymore. I don't want to have to come somewhere every year and worry about, am I going to be the guy or not? Right? Am I going to have a seat to sit in and actually support my family? Or am I going to go somewhere who actually, values what I'm bringing to the table without me having to fear for, my job every single time? Now, if you're good enough, I know some of these guys, they're so good that they don't really have to worry about that. But I mean, at the end of the day, I mean, these guys are grown ass adults. If you think that somebody's the starter, put them in the starting position. This whole Icky situation is absolutely asinine to me. And so this breeding of competition, that rah-rah speech that's supposed to get everybody so excited to compete. It's just, I feel like if I'm an adult in that room, it falls on deaf ears. I'm just sitting there waiting for that speech to be over so I can go put in the work and try to save my job because apparently it's on the line.
He's barely earned his own job. Let's just go ahead and put that one. He's fighting for his own job. You know what? He better not call his wife. He better not call his agent. He better go out and earn it. The last point, I'm going to turn it over to you guys just to comment on Matt Rhule in the Camp Confidential, is that it really does feel like a speech that you give to college kids.
Mm.
And I'm not saying, and look, and I know that just sounds like a knock. And what I'm saying is this, I don't know if it's just such a leap. It's just like, do you know, like when you're younger, that people try to like promise you that the world, like if you work hard, if you do like all like this like kind of idealistic look at the world.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, he's like, hey, if we come in here, he's like, it's about team. But, and it's just like, everybody's got talent.
He's a cornball.
Yeah,
I love your Matt Rhule.
Takes the notes. Awesome. It goes back. It just kind of reminded me of the speech that he gave the Florida team.
Yeah, and Matt,
note.
like it's not that Matt Rhule is a liar, because I don't believe that Matt Rhule is a liar. I just believe that he's delusional.
That's a better explanation.
Yeah, in terms
he really thinks what he's saying is right.
Yeah, there is no doubt that man believes every single thing that he's saying without question. The difficulty is it's like you're getting high on your own supply. He feels that he's the best. He is the best coach since sliced bread. And by the way, Stephen Kirby with a great comment says, look at Urban Meyer. Urban Meyer felt like he was the man. And by the way, when you're a head coach at the college football team, you're the big man on campus. Literally, what you say goes. I mean, anything that you tell your players to do, they pretty much have to do, or they don't get a chance to play football. And I'm sorry, man. I 100% agree with that. I think Matt Rhule is a college-style head coach. And, nothing that he has done yet has proven that they're actually building something. Now, I will say this. A lot of people have been saying, if you listen to Panthers players, they seem to be bought in, that they seem to be believing everything that Matt Rhule is saying, that if there is some idea of a brand, that the Panthers know what it is and that they're on the same page as Matt Rhule. I hope that's true. But at the same point, I also know that as a player, especially if you're competing for a starting job, you're not going to go out there and say, yeah, man, our coach, he kind of doesn't have any idea what the hell he's doing.
Right.
Like, they're going to tell you that they believe in their leader, that they believe in their coach. They're not going to tell you otherwise. So I don't know how much you can take that to the bank. I don't know. I'm just saying.
No, I agree with you there, but at the same time, like there's a lot of times where the players, the players coming together and buying into a system, you can have that without a coach. Like anybody who's been a part of a team and wants to have any kind of success realizes that without even having a set leader, you've got to come together and be on the same page to make things work. And these guys want to get paid. So them coming together is not always on the coach. You're going to come together a little bit regardless. It's how well you gel is what the coach does. And, Matt, I agree with you. Matt Rhule's a college coach. I'll give him that. He's a college coach.
I hope look, he could step ahead this year. This
Maybe.
is, the year he can he can turn this narrative on me. And right now it's just like one of those things is like we've had a bad date. Now it's on you to make the date better this time. You know what I'm saying? Like it's not like that it's impossible that this could work out or something like this, but it's just it almost feels like an administrator to me. And I work at a college, so like it's just like these buzzwords.
Right.
And you just like, hey, let's make data-driven decisions. That they love to say that used to be fun for people to say 5 years ago. Data-driven decisions. You'd be like, motherfucker, you don't even really look at the data.
It's like
you don't
analytics
like.
now.
I mean, you gotta you gotta dive down it and to find meaning into it. You can't just and that's where I think a lot of the old hats used to make fun of the analytics coaches too much. Is like analytics are helpful, but for the sake of analytics, they're not. Like you have to apply them in a meaningful way. So yes, is that it is about team. The real people do win. And maybe I'm just negative. Maybe I'm just sour on it. Right. But how about this? That was the only moment they gave Matt Rhule in this. Matt Rhule is not the star of the Carolina Panthers. Right. Number one. That's what we learned from Camp Confidential. The star of the Carolina Panthers, Lynn Leonhardt, pointed out was Dante Jackson. She was like, God, they use a lot of filler for him. But I want you guys, I got 4 or 5 takes away from Camp Confidential that came out. What are you guys? I'm going to pass the mic to y'all. What stuck out to you about other than my first was Matt Rhule is a dork. Second, what do you guys think? What'd you get? What'd you gather?
So one of the things that I really took away from it, and this is something that I feel like is a step in the right direction towards making me like Baker Mayfield more than I do. I think that today he was, or during Camp Confidential rather, he was really good. Baker Mayfield rather was really good at taking Matt Corral under his wing and kind of showing him the ropes of playing NFL football. And if you've been a proponent of Baker Mayfield, part of the dream is that you are going to stash Matt Corral on the roster behind Baker Mayfield, and that he's going to have an opportunity to learn and to get better and to understand things. And it feels like Baker kind of knows that as well. Obviously he wants to be a long-term starter, but the fact that he's doing stuff like this really says a lot to me. Let's watch.
He's saying get your feet set for the out. But while you're looking to set for the out, you should be paying attention to leverage. You should be able to guess where he's going based on that guy. Because if you're set for inside, he goes out, you're going to have to reset and do it. Now, if you're set for the out, you're talented enough to where you can just do it. Yeah, just set for the out, see the defender's leverage, and go from there.
I like that, man. It seems genuine. This doesn't seem to me like Baker doing this for the cameras or knowing that he was mic'd up. I like this, man. Listen, I am anything but a hater. Okay, I don't hate for no reason. I give flowers and credit when they're due, and I think Baker Mayfield has done a good job of taking the young dude under his wing and trying to show him up and coach him up. Now I still think Matt Corral has the potential to be a much better quarterback than Baker, but the fact that it's a veteran imparting his knowledge to a young NFL quarterback who still has his entire career out in front of him, I like that. I like that a lot.
I think it's important that I also bring into context something that happened at the post-game press conference when Matt Corral was, they were talking about the quarterback room, and Matt Corral said anytime he has a question, he goes to Baker. He's like, Baker, I always ask, what would Baker do? And all that stuff. Like, Matt Corral didn't say Sam Darnold's name once about who he goes to for help, like why he's in such a great room. Sam Darnold wasn't mentioned once in that. It was Baker Mayfield that he initially went to say, I'm learning so much from Baker. When I have a question, I go to Baker. When, and I just love that statement he makes is like, what would Baker do? Right. Not that I'm saying that I'm glad that he's learning behind Baker, but there is clearly one person who is taking Matt Corral under his wing to try to teach him the ropes the best he can, coming into a tough situation, already. And that's Baker Mayfield. It's clear based on everything we've seen up to this point. That clip is, and out of context, I think it's easy. If you didn't have that paired with that press conference, you could almost say, Matt Corral, Baker Mayfield did have a mic on, and so he knew this was possibly going to be broadcasted, and how much of this is real when they know that they're being watched, right? But when you hear Matt Corral himself state the things that he said in the post game, like when you combine those two things, I think it's clear that Baker Mayfield's doing
credibility to that moment, validates that moment. I thought the one other thing that stuck out to me when it just sticking with that quarterback thing is, and I know this is produced, so we don't really get to see like what's real, like how these people really feel. Like we're not on the couch with them. But when I saw that interaction between Corral and Baker and Darnold, I didn't feel the animosity and the threat. It almost felt like at least Baker was definitely comfortable enough in his skin. Sam Darnold, we can't tell like if he ever gets shook. He's like, I'm seeing ghosts. He's just that California kid that like nothing really. It's like it was just so like he just ate a big old edible and went to practice. But like I was a little surprised that the competition, iron sharpens iron, was not more heated. And not that they needed to be talking shit. It just felt like it was like this super friendly like dudes day. Like they were gonna pull out have a little picnic or something. Mm-hmm. And what it's not a negative. I am giving this as a positive. I actually felt like all of these guys, maybe it's just because they're making $18 million a year. So who gives a real fuck? Like their life is roses anyway. But they felt comfortable in their. I thought they looked comfortable in their skins. Even Sam Darnold.
Yeah. I don't disagree with that. Greg, did you have something you wanted?
No, I mean, y'all pretty much hit all the points on that with there. It's just the Sam Darnold Baker Mayfield comparison is done. With everything I've seen, with what I've seen with my own eyes, the production, what I've heard about with the reports, me going to the stadium myself and seeing more Sam Darnold jerseys Baker Mayfield jerseys present than Sam Darnold being worn and for sale in the team stores. It's just over. I think, Tony, you're right. These guys are both I'm making $19 million a year this year. I think for me personally, if I'm Sam Darnold, I'm living my life, man. I am a backup
mode. Just retire, bro.
Yeah, I have the best job in the world. I'm a backup quarterback making $19 million a year. That is the absolute best job in the world, man, because odds are you're probably never going to play. And all you got to do is suit up and show up and practice and work out every week.
No, and
you're going to make $19 million.
Love it.
I don't feel bad for Sam Darnold. I don't want him on the team. I don't think he'll ever start in the NFL again. He can make a decent backup quarterback. Make that money doing that, man.
All right. Next thing that stuck out to me on Camp Confidential is I've been asking this since Luke Kuechly retired.
Yeah.
Or maybe not asking it on the show, but in my heart of hearts. And I think that caller who asked, what's the foundation of us going forward? Remember the caller who asked, he said, that what is the foundation? I said, it was young. It's about youth and speed. I think really what the psychoanalyst or analyzation of that call is like, who's our constant? Who's our North Star? Who are our people, our buoys in the ocean that we can hold on to, the lamp we follow? And if it's not our coach, I mean, at least with the Patriots, like, I mean, think about what the Patriots are going through. They don't have Tom Brady, but you could still say, well, it's Belichick. You have these constants. We lost all of our constants. A constellation of constants all at once. We lost Cam, Luke, TD. It was just like all of a sudden we're in a complete. One of my friends brings this up is that, and he's not even a Panthers fan. He said, I saw this guy wearing, and this was years ago. This was like 2019. He brought this up. He's like, bro, I saw this guy wearing the 2015 Panthers NFC champion shirt, and it's got Kuechly, Davis, Cam, Olsen, and like Charles Johnson on it, you know. And he goes, none of them are on the Panthers anymore. Not a single fucking one of them. Maybe it's 20, you know. And so what stuck out to me with this Camp Confidential was I finally got a sense of the new leadership of the Carolina Panthers. And maybe, I mean, I'm not trying to put them in the shoes of those.
Yeah, but we need guys to step into those positions,
right?
And that they're very sorely needed on.
And here's what I saw: Dante Jackson, and Jeremy Chin, and Brian Burns on defense.
Yeah. You want me to play that clip of Jeremy Chin?
Yeah, and I saw Taylor Moton on offense, and I think that's about it. I think those are my guys. Those are
dude, those are all the guys that are the leaders on the football team.
I think Jeremy Chin might be the silent fucking assassin on this team.
Yeah.
And think about how young he is. Think about how young this mug is.
Like, they're all friends, they're all on the same team, but sometimes you have to hold your peers to a higher level. I mean, especially if all of us are saying that Matt Rhule is lacking that leadership quality that you need to be the head coach of a football team. Well, damn it doesn't hurt to have players like this bringing your team back up to speed where they need to be.
All right, so look. Hey, man, hold on. I got to say something real quick because we dropped way too many. Oh, my God. I was going to get there.
This is what we preach about, though.
Word,
you know what I'm saying?
word.
The plus 17, 30, 34 plus, bro. Like, what the fuck are we doing if we out here just dropping shit and you know what I'm saying?
Word.
Like, you got to hold ourselves accountable.
Word. Right, hey, that's true though, dog. That's true. That's the only way we're gonna get to the top of the league with this, bro. Plus 17. That's what we're gonna do, dog. And start with me. I gotta catch the ones that come to me. We all do. So but overall, dog, great day, dog. Great day. The intensity was high. We competed our ass off, bro. Everybody high, everybody tired, but we still came out this competed. Just keep stacking, though. Where my dogs at?
I love that, man. And that's everything that you said, Tony. Jeremy Chin and Dante Jackson stepping up to the plate and demanding more from their teammates, man. And you know what? When you know that those guys are genuine, when Jeremy Chin comes over to you and says, hey, man, we're not doing enough, it even hits you different.
And so calm. It's like
damn, Jeremy, you're right. You're right about that, man. Like, when someone like that says something to you, it hits you different. And Jeremy Chin has turned into that. And to be honest with you, this man has been that player from the very moment that he was drafted.
How about this? What if you said this? What the fuck you know, Jeremy Chin, would be like, I'm the only motherfucker in the history of the world that has had 2 back-to-back fumble scoops and scores.
Tackle leader for the Panthers last year.
Back-to-back plays, bro. He scooped and scored. They kicked it off and he scooped and scored again, man. Fuck that. It's never happened in the history of the world.
You probably never see it again.
Do you remember when Thomas Davis retired? And they were doing that press conference for him at the end. Jeremy Chin was there. He knew how important Thomas Davis was to the organization. He wants to continue to be that kind of player. Dude, I love Jeremy Chin. And I also feel like Dante Jackson is much maligned for no reason at all. I understand a lot of Panther fans
He's just
don't
yappy.
love the guy.
He's just
But
yappy.
dude,
That's it.
but also he played a lot better for us last year. We always used to complain about him tackling in space. I felt like last year he jumped in that category by leaps and bounds.
Oh, think about this. How about this? We're talking about Dante Jackson being a leader on this team, where just in 2017, what was it? Was that the year? Was it 2017? We had the all or nothing where they were just fucking roasting and
No,
chastising.
2018.
18. Remember, like, and they like Justin Reed, who was it? Reed and not Reed and
Captain Wonderland.
Captain Wonderland took him over, and they're like trying. And he was young. He was a young boy. He's still yappy as fuck and just mouthy, but that's fine. But I tell you, this is like my bastard son, White Chocolate Espresso, said we still lost that game. On top of that, not only did we lose that game, I think Jeremy Chin single-handedly scored more points in the offense in that game.
Yeah.
Just fucking crazy. All right, so new leadership. Taylor Moton turns out to be a neat freak. Taylor Moton was lecturing everybody on where to put the washcloths, where to put the towels, why the fucking tubs don't work, because you little bitch-ass kids are just ruining everything. I understand it. He's becoming a dad. He's dealing with the children. The next thing that stuck out to me on this Camp Confidential was I really didn't see a lot of Christian McCaffrey. And just to kind of parlay that off of our leadership role, I just feel like as Brian Burns is becoming such a larger face of this organization, Christian McCaffrey is less and less the featured person. And somebody was saying this is like it was FSU. He's always here. I'm gonna go find his name, but it was like this is a ripoff of Hard Knocks. Well, of course, I mean, I guess, but you know what's cool about this is that the Panthers' own media department makes this instead of like putting together a multi-billion-dollar production team. So Hard Knocks has been going on for what 2 decades or some shit like that, or close to it.
Probably slightly scripted as well.
Since Shannon Sharp was still playing.
Yeah, I mean, I think this is cool. Like, I think that a lot of teams should be. It's like kind of like, well, we could say this is we shouldn't be having this podcast because ESPN did this 20 years ago or whatever.
Right.
But no, I mean, I understand. We're not trying to say it's better than Hard Knocks, but or whatever. I don't even really care. It's not an either or. I just want to watch this one. But if you were trying to televise this to the world, isn't Christian McCaffrey got the most name value on this team out of anybody? He's a good looker. You're trying to tell me this, that you couldn't give me a little glamour shot of Olivia Culpa at the first preseason game. Just eat into it. No, Chris McCaffrey's kind of missing.
I honestly think,
and that's all. I mean, it's not a knock, just missing.
I honestly think, Tony, that right now, Christian McCaffrey's not the biggest name on this team that's recognizable. I think Baker Mayfield is.
Yeah.
To be truly honest with you, I think
his name
I've seen Carolina in so many NFL shows or sports shows. They were the lead topic of Skip and Shannon yesterday. Baker Mayfield and Sam Darnold. Like, Sam Darnold has put Carolina back in the media map as far as being talked about. Christian McCaffrey, even in his year, we got 1,000, wasn't doing that. Cam was
on a losing
1
team.
year. Yeah,
on a losing team.
So,
why does Baker? Why is it when we saw this with Cam Newton? Cam Newton had a certain gravitational pull to him. And I know everybody gets upset with me anytime I try to put the next whatever, like, I mean, and I love Cam more than anybody. I'm a Cam sexual. I'm the first one. But Baker's name slaps, bro.
Mm-hmm.
His name slaps. Like, if we, what we should do is you should put is Baker's name in our show title, bro.
Yeah. Oh, trust me.
It will already
algorithms.
It'll already. No, I mean, his name slaps more than anybody. Like, it has a gravitational pull of a Cam Newton, of a Donald Trump, of Barack Obama. There's just certain people that have a grab.
Even
Why
if
does
you hate 'em, you
Baker
wanna
I
rap
think
slap
I
so
know
hard?
why.
Yeah.
I want to know.
I think I know why. And it's because they don't have that Sam Darnold personality. Like, look, we have a problem with Sam Darnold and his personality. But if Sam was balling out, then everybody would say, oh, he's the perfect quarterback. He's the type of player that Colin Cowherd would be oozing all over because everything that he says is by the book. He doesn't talk trash. He's clean cut, all this other stuff, right?
Boring.
Everybody knew that Cam Newton was different. And he would let you know how different he was via the things that he said, how he dressed, all those different things. And by the way, Cam Newton said it before, there's never been no one that looked like him doing what he did.
Right.
You know, a 6'5", 240-pound
No,
black
there might not
quarterback in
ever
the
be
NFL
another one.
that was just dominating everything, man.
Mm-hmm.
To be honest, I think that there's a similar thing with Baker Mayfield in that he does talk a gang of shit. He's not afraid to let you know. Yeah, he plants the flag. He's not afraid to let
Charismatic,
you
bro.
know. He's not afraid to let you know that he feels that he is an alpha dog. But also what comes with that is a lot of criticism as well. So whenever Cam Newton did bad or whenever Baker Mayfield had a down performance, all the haters double up on them even more because of how different they are. So it's a blessing and a curse, man. They have a lot of fans that adore them for their bravado and for their attitude. But at the same time, it's a double-edged sword. It comes with a much higher standard on what people will and won't accept from a performance.
Yeah. See, other thing that stuck out to me is Matt Corral got big ass fucking feet.
Oh, I knew you.
Dang,
as soon
dude,
as I
this
saw
is
it,
ginormous.
dude, as soon as I
It does
saw
look
it,
like it. Like I'm with Baker on this. Is
yeah,
my
they look
kid?
enormous.
My kid used to be friends with this kid, and they don't hang out. I mean, because we're middle school friends. And this motherfucker wore like a 12 when he was like in 6th grade, and it just looked like. Wait a sec. I mean, it just didn't look right. Not only did it look right, the bend on it didn't look right. You know what I'm saying? It was just like, are you sure you're not 11? Yeah, like it was like, and Baker said, how many socks you wearing? A lot of that shit was a fit. Do you have it? Do you have this clip? No. Okay.
I can. No, I can.
No, you don't gotta worry about it.
Find
Like,
it.
it's 15, a size 15.
Yeah, that's a good dude. A size 15
Oh,
shoe.
Corral, baby. Like, if you didn't somebody ask on the show the other week is like, who's the hottest, sexiest quarterback or something like that? Because they know that I'm always making sex analogies. Well, God, if Matt Corral didn't just continue to climb.
No, so are you saying you think this man has Teddy Bridgewater syndrome?
Oh, I don't know. But I hope I don't
Come
learn
on,
it
bro.
the way we learned about Teddy.
You know we've
You saw it
devolved when the
firsthand with Teddy, though, right?
conversation starts to go
Look,
this
God,
way.
I know. It's like, please put that away. I feel everybody feels uncomfortable in this picture beside you.
It's the
Oh my
pleats.
God,
It's the pleats in
Teddy
the pants.
And then the thing about this is that same person who has a that hangs to their knees also dressed up as Tadisha. What is the irony in the life as all of us with not that in our whatever have more masculine, and then this mother's like, you know what? I got such a big dick. I'm gonna dress up as a girl.
Apparently, someone said that Teddy was doing it for a project.
Please don't say it's a fundraiser.
Dude,
Oh my
I have
God!
no
It's for
idea.
like
I do
a
think that it's
transgender
hilarious.
association or some shit. Come on.
I do think that it's
No.
hilarious. Yeah, Matt
Kadisha,
Corral has a size
everybody
15
would have
shoe.
come back quicker than that. You know what I'm saying? Like, we can't make fun of a picture for 2 years. If you would have said this, if we would have just trashed on somebody who was raising money for a transgender organization, they would have come back and killed everybody from day one. But Tadisha was dressed like a girl for Halloween.
You don't want to see this. You don't want to see this.
Yeah, I do want to see it. It's kind of ridiculous. And this right here, best. I like this.
Yeah. So this is Matt Corral size 15 shoe.
Personal best.
I like this jump rope exercise. This
Here it
His
is.
feet look big as hell. What size shoe do you wear? 15? You don't. What do you put extra socks in? You sure? You're not going to impress
See, he's charismatic, man. Mayfield is charismatic, dude. Look, even I mean, he's charismatic. That's the other thing is not only is he kind of sparked something, but he's got enough charisma to hang on the moments where you like him. It's not just about putting the flag on Ohio State or whatever the fuck he did. It's not just the controversial spots. It's like look his fucking commercials.
Hey man, we're talking about Matt Corral right now, dude.
Okay.
Not Baker Mayfield.
Back to his feet,
but it always circles
no.
back.
He stole the fucking show. He stole the show.
My quarterback has a size 15 shoe. I'm just saying, dude. That is what it is. Just like 2 + 2 = 4.
I'm pretty sure Pat Eflin's gonna step all over his big ass feet, and they're gonna.
Oh no! All right, P.
I was gonna say, is that going to be an issue? Having way too big of feet, clown shoes, and getting your feet stepped on?
Oh, can you imagine if people start
It's like
to say
short arms.
that he's not a good runner because his feet are too big or something like that, dude? That's
and everybody thought he was very athletic and fast, and now they're like, oh, clown shoe Corral.
He's got platypus feet, dude. What else can we say, man?
Anything else stick out to you? For me, Matt Rhule's a nerd. Tabor, I think Tabor was cool on that. Moten is a clean freak. Trying to think, is that was kind of my Camp Confidential shit.
I love that Taylor Moten is the father of the
Oh, I
team.
know.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
He's like the
Yeah.
adult in the room.
Clean your
He's like,
fucking rooms.
Pick up your shit. You're grown men. You're adults. Don't be a slob. Clean your shit. And dude, it's funny because you need people like that. Like you really do need people like that to like put you in line and make you be a better person.
He said you broke the ice tub or the hot tub because y'all asses are cannonballing in. Stop being an idiot. Like, just let's put the eggs away and move on. All right.
Yeah.
That's all I got, bro. And look, we powered through so much information tonight. And think about this. Y'all assholes. Actually, you know what? I'm gonna save my ice up. This is my ice up. Let's do it.
Let's do it.
Let's ice some fools up. The longest running segment on the C3 Panthers podcast. We're the longest running Panthers podcast. We've been doing this segment since the ice up was created, bro. That happened in the first season that I was doing this show. Irony of this is my man, I hate that dude, the Talib Akib, whatever the fuck his name is. I always confuse him with the rapper. You know, a lot of people were celebrating him for being on the Amazon Prime. I heard who was it? He was on Dan Patrick. It's like the best voice in fucking sports. They're doing the Amazon show. They're calling the Thursday night games for Amazon, and he's part of it. And Talib Akib Talib is whatever the fuck his name is. He's part of the broadcast team. Maybe not anymore.
Why wouldn't he?
Yeah, I mean, it was his brother, it wasn't him, right?
Somebody said he was part of the fight, though.
Was he?
Somebody I saw.
I mean, I can believe it.
I won't trust anything on the internet at this point, but somebody said that he threw a punch in that fight.
I'm
Like,
pretty sure he
was
had.
there.
Did he get shot? Did he shoot somebody or did he get shot?
No, I don't think it was. I think it was just his brother that now is facing some really deep shit.
I saw
but,
saying he was there in the fight, and I don't trust it. But here's the thing: he's already been in a lot. He was volatile in the league,
right?
Yeah,
he might be off
was
the
a controversial player. Yeah.
Well, he had been trying to like kind of rejuvenate his look. He had a podcast. He had started to do commentary, and like you were talking about. I thought he was one of the better commentators last year. Yeah, man. I don't know if this is going to affect him long term or not, but
Well, we've been running this segment since that moment happened.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, we did that the week after our ice up picks. Ice up, son. Ice up, son. It's where we tell someone, anyone, everyone is fair game to ice up, toughen up, to get it together, hit them with it.
Ice up, son. Ice up.
Ice up, son. Ice up. I'm gonna go first. I'm icing up y'all fools.
All right. Fuck you, Tony.
Yeah. Y'all three.
yeah, right.
Y'all three right here. So I've
Come at
been
us,
sitting
bro.
here in the background. Greg is trying to help us. He's sending me these messages about how long, because one of the things that I'm long-winded. He's sending me these messages in the background going, we've been talking about Icky for 13 minutes. And like, he's doing good stuff. Helpful. Thank you, Greg. Keep it up. But my ass goes on vacation. I go on vacation. I'm sitting here my whole life for the last 10 years is going, I need to make this podcast move. I got to get through this material faster. We got to find a way. And I'm the problem. I'm the problem. I am. I go in this and then I'll say something. I'll be like, well, what? Let's talk about bank robbery movies or some stupid shit like this. So I go on vacation. I go to the Dominican Republic. And thank you guys. First, I'm going to start with a thank you for keeping the longest running Panthers podcast running. We haven't missed a week. We moved it from a Tuesday to a Wednesday or a Tuesday for a Monday occasionally. Rarely. But haven't missed a week. Going into, or we're in our 10th season now. So thank you. It starts with a thank you. But the ice up goes to these three fools on the panel right here. So somehow I go to sleep at night, hating myself about how long I've run to ruin their lives, make them stay up so late. How I've been, oh my God, they're like, Tony, stop talking about this shit. Tony, stop talking about this. These motherfuckers went and did a 4-hour show. Let's just say 4 hours. It was 3 hours and 52 minutes. And don't give me there were 22 calls, bro. We have had 22 calls a lot of times. Y'all get the ice up for longest D windbags in the history of the world. I feel so much better about myself, dude. I'm not only the problem. I'm just part of the problem. Ice up, son.
Hey. How about them numbers, though?
Oh, I know.
We also you want to, you say that, but we also got like 50 more subs that night, and
I know y'all.
Big things.
But I swear I pulled it up. And first, actually, this is what happened. I pulled it up. I pulled it up. I was like, God damn, look at these views. Again, Baker Mayfield in the title. Baker Mayfield slaps, bro.
Mm-hmm.
That was one thing. The thumbs up were fucking incredible. Like, we crested 300. It was a great show, obviously. But then I looked at, so I went from that to that, and I was like, what? 4 hours? Y'all go to one. I mean, it was 3 hours and 52 minutes, dude.
Yeah.
You're going to 12:52? Jesus.
Oh, yeah. It was like,
And look, I was feeling bad about 30 minutes ago when I thought we were getting close to being done. And I was like, nah, let's talk about this Camp Confidential for another hour. It's 11:40. We're getting out of here early.
Yeah.
You're welcome.
Okay.
You're welcome.
You know what's true, though? And you know why we love our C3 fans? Because what our man Jarvis Judson says right here is true. They'll ride with us for all 4 hours.
Yeah,
man.
they will.
We have some
bro.
incredible damn fans, dude.
So dope. So
yeah,
cool. Compliment and ice up at the same time. Oh, I love y'all. I love all y'all. All right, who's up?
Love you too, brother.
I like that you did a personal one, Tony, because I got a personal one too. If nobody else cares,
go ahead.
Oh, cool. So okay, last week, man, FanFest was awesome. It was a great day. I had 2 doctor's appointments. Both of them turned out awesome. I got to go down to Charlotte. I love Charlotte. I got to eat lunch with CK and his family, man. Got to hang out with them. Got to meet Cody. Got to meet Kevin. I was in the Panther Stadium in great seats. Everything is going great. My wife got to go with me. I didn't think she was going to get to go. So I run another show, the Geeks Chasing Squirrels Across the Multiverse, and my podcast partner Ross he's been my best friend for my whole life. I can't remember any time without him, and he happens to be there too, but he's on the other side of the stadium. So I'm spending most of this fan fest walking around the stadium, passing out decals, saying hey to Ross, going over to Cody and Kevin, coming back to CK, just interacting, having a great time. I get all the way to the other side of the stadium where my friend Ross is at, and I vape. Right. When I'm in public, I inhale it, but I don't let any smoke out. Just out of respect for the people, even though it's just water vapor and doesn't really bother people. I just don't let it out. Right. So nobody would know unless you see me put it up to my mouth and vape. Right. This kid who's a security guard comes up and taps me on the shoulder about 5 minutes after I've been standing over there, like leaning up against the pole talking to Ross, and taps me on the shoulder and tells me that he's wanting to kick me out of the stadium. And just the way he approached me, he was like, I'm going to have to kick you out of the stadium. And I just kind of looked at him and I was like, well, what's going on? And he was like, I saw you vaping over there on the other side of the stadium. I said, okay. He says, so I may have to kick you out. And he's like, getting up in my face, like, I may have to kick you out. And I was like, okay. Like, just kind of not being, there's another security guard sitting right beside me. He's a little bit older of a gentleman, just kind of laughing at the whole thing, right? And he's like, are we going to have a problem here? Is this going to be an issue? Do I need to call somebody else in here? And I'll kind of look at my wife and look at the security guard. And I was like, nah, man, we're cool. He's like, well, if I catch you doing it again, he was like, you're out and we're going to ban you for a while. So this whole thing is going on. I'm not bothering anybody. And this kid goes all the way across the stadium to approach me to tell me this, which is so funny. And I don't know if you guys ever have that moment. Like when you're younger, I feel like any adult you see up to a certain age feels like they could automatically kick your ass,
Yeah.
I feel like I'm at that point where I'm that adult when kids see me. It doesn't matter if you're bigger than me. I feel like kids could look at me and feel like, well, that guy kicked my ass. And this is one of those kids, this little beanpole teenager.
Feel like I kick all their asses.
Well, that's what I'm saying. I feel like the kids feel like I could kick their ass, Like I feel like I'm at that age, And this kid's just this little beanpole teenage kid, and I just couldn't believe the effort he was going through to try to kind of buck up to me and look big. And for the whole night, that was the only thing bad in the entire experience for FanFest. So I recommend it to everybody next year because we're going to have big things next year too. But to that kid, I couldn't catch his name because I couldn't see his name badge. But of everybody there that's having a great time, he seemed to have a problem. So ice up.
Yeah. Well,
what's up?
Vaping, man. It's against the law.
Yeah, I know, right?
In the stadium. Which is so crazy. Hey, I don't really care. I'm done. Look, if I get, because I want to extend this, we're going to talk another hour and 12 minutes about me not smoking cigarettes. If I can get 2 more weeks, if I can get to September, I haven't smoked cigarettes in a year.
Hell yeah.
Damn. Dude.
Nice.
That's awesome.
No cheats, no vapes.
Nice.
No supplements, no. And you know what? And it's not, and I wasn't even the hardest of hardcore smokers, but I've been smoking on and off since I was 15 years old.
Right.
I used to smoke a lot. I quit, stopped. It's been a fucking battle my whole life.
Hardest thing to quit, man.
It is. I still dream about them, dude. Like I have dreams where I wake up and this is like I wake up, I smell I'm like dream. Because
I didn't dream
you can't
smoke.
hide it, bro. You can't hide it. Like you can wash your hands, man. You smell like cigarettes. But the funniest thing about that is all of those rules, and we used to smoke cigarettes like in the most confined ass space in the world, bro. Like
Airplanes.
back to the 80s.
Airplanes.
Well, yeah, I know. You could be like, your parents would be smoking cigarettes in the car with the windows rolled up. And you'd be like, can you open the window? Like, nah, I'm fucking smoking a cigarette. You're like, oh my God. All right, who's next?
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, go ahead, CK, if you want to go.
There you go. You're good, dude.
No, you want to go first? I'm still kind of pulling mine up.
Mine's going to be pretty simple. I mean, obviously, I already talked about the broadcast in New England, joint practice being a bit problematic. You know, and quite honestly, appalling some of the things that I had heard. But outside of that, while the press conferences were happening, all right, I don't know if you guys listened to all the press conferences, but those people in New England are rowdy as fuck.
Yeah.
And like the entire time they're doing these press conferences, all you hear in the background are these like kids and adults yelling, Baker, Baker, and like yelling at the top of their lungs, Christian McCaffrey, Christian McCaffrey. It's like, what the fuck? And like you watch the video of Christian McCaffrey going over there to sign some shit for him. And like
Olivia, I want to fuck you.
I was just like, I was so overwhelmed. I'm for these players, and I'm sitting here thinking, like, I wouldn't sign a single fucking autograph for anybody who acts like that. Like, not once. I'm so irritated by that, and I know that's kind of what you have to do to get the attention of the players. But I couldn't be one of those people. I just can't, and that might be why I'll never get autographs. But if I'm those players, man, I am like, I feel bad for them. I feel bad for anybody who's a star who just can't go somewhere without having to worry about somebody asking for your autograph or anything like that. It seems a bit, it just seems a bit impersonal, but also like I don't know. I'm trying to think of the right word.
Childish, to put it, man. It's kind of like when you remember that moment just a week ago when Brian Burns was there and they asked, like, what do you think about being the third round quarterback to Matt Corral? And
Brian Burns,
just like, what kind of stupid fucking question is that?
Yeah.
Like, just have some sense about you, request it, and you don't get the autograph. You don't get the autograph. Just go on fucking eBay and buy it for $30. That Jonathan Stewart joint. How about that football for $30?
Yeah.
Go do me a favor and watch the Robbie Anderson press conference, and you'll see what I'm talking about. Like, you could barely focus on what Robbie. You can barely focus on what Robbie is saying because, like, all you hear in the background are these obnoxious kids just yelling.
Matt Rhule.
Wasn't quite that to that level, but
that guy was feeling it, bro.
I just got so overwhelmed and irritated for these players in the middle of their press conference, having to deal with that in the background, still trying to focus on what the reporters are saying. Like, who was it? Higgins had to ask a reporter to get closer because he couldn't hear what the reporter was saying. Like, that's how ridiculous these people were being. And so I'm gonna ice up those fans who have very little respect for what these players are actually in the middle of doing when they're in the middle of a press conference or anything like that. Whether it works or not is irrelevant. I just personally pick them up.
Ice up.
Yeah. Ice up. So listen, Tony is not the draft guy. He will tell you he doesn't like it at all. He doesn't like getting to know the players that end up being a bust, and it's like all for naught. Well, I'm the opposite. I'm the yin to Tony's yang, the yang to his yin. I love it, right? I love following these players and seeing what they're going to be, right? I also followed Trevor Penning, the left tackle for the New Orleans Saints. And I've been at war the past couple years with PFF because PFF passes themselves off like they're the god of analytics. Their numbers and their stats relating to football players is like the holy Bible of football stats and analytics, right? So they put out a list of the highest graded first round offensive rookies in week 1. And there's some big names on that list. Charles Cross, who the Panthers also were interested in. Kenny Pickett, the first round quarterback selected to Pittsburgh. Garrett Wilson, big time wide receiver out of Ohio State. But number 1, above all of them, was Trevor Penning with a 90.9 PFF grade for rookies. Now, y'all look at this man right here on the edge and tell me if this is a man who scored a 90-something PFF grade. Really? Really? That big-ass turnstile starting fights for no reason. That's the best rookie offensive lineman. That's the best rookie player. What are we talking about, man? Stop pretending that PFF is all you need to know about whether or not a player is a good football player. At the end of the day, PFF is doing what everyone else is. They're giving you their subjective opinions on the film that they have watched about football players. They are not correct all the time, and oftentimes they will try and convince you that a dog shit football player is actually really good. Remember when they said Darrell Williams was the best right tackle ever and yet was always getting destroyed for us? Yeah, that's one of them. They also love Michael Jordan, who we all know from watching him time and time again. Michael Jordan is not a good football player, man. So to PFF and to everyone who believes that PFF is like the be-all, end-all of evaluating football talent, hell no, man. Ice up, son.
Ice up also to Dave Gettleman. Vernon Butler got cut by the Las Vegas Raiders. Back to nipple short. Dave Gettleman had fucking Mount Rushmore status for a couple of years.
Yep.
13, 14, 15, man. It looked like it was just genius. Kind of started with the Vernon Butler pick in many ways. That whole Josh Norman, Vernon Butler was all in the same year, I think. But no, some guys, that's it. That's the C3 Panthers podcast brought to you by CarolinaCatChronicles.com. Every Tuesday night, we chop up the latest Panthers news and opinions from the fan perspective. It's the longest running show. We're in our 10th season. We started in 13. We're walking into our 10th season, dude. It's fucking incredible. Content's expanding. But you know what's really expanding is the community, the fans, and the friends that we met. Greg brought this up. He's like, I was over here. I met this. I met that. Think about that. Think about how long we've hung out and how regularly we have hung out in this space. I know you and ultimately your life and your family far better than anybody I've met in person.
Mm-hmm.
And it's incredible when you think about that. And I still go back to this, is that this podcast right here made the pandemic easy for me.
Yeah.
I was like, fuck yeah. I told my wife, we got back from the Dominican Republic on Thursday. Like, I said this. I said, I'm going to hang out with my friends. And she thought I was leaving. It was Friday. I was like, no, I'm just going up there to fucking hang out on this Friday. I'm going to hang out. She was like, where you going? Where you going? I was like, there's motherfucker. Chill.
Yeah, we just went on vacation.
I love you guys. I love the people in the chat, and I love all that the time and all that. It's just y'all are my friends. We ride to the game. We talk shit together. We celebrate together. Tuesday nights, Friday nights, post game shows. This Friday is going to be a fun one. Watch along meets the free for all. Good luck. How about this? If you haven't hung out on the Friday free for all, put your own fucking seatbelts on. Put your big boy pants on. You got to watch out. Them boys don't mess around. You better. I mean, they even be dropping porno bombs on these mugs. If you better.
Nah. We prevent the dropping of porno.
Cody, the last one. How about that? Is how lucky in the last one with the comments and the way the thing was organized.
And the fact that no one does. I almost don't even want to talk about it. Because I don't want people to look. I'm not even going to tell them.
But like, it was like, anyway. I was drunk,
man.
I was out partying. You were like, oh, you're worried. I forgot about it. You were like, so what did I do? I was like, I don't even remember what we were talking about. I still laugh about it. My name's Tony Dunn. You can follow me on Twitter at @cat_chronicles. You can be a part of the show by calling in at 252-228-5098. And you can hang out with my wheelman. Tell them how, Cody, last name.
Yeah, you can find me on Twitter at CodyLac, CODYLAC. Come hang out, man. I'm not complaining about something related to Matt Rhule. You know what I'm saying? That's just kind of my MO. That's what I do. Cool. But I also I love to talk Carolina Panthers. I'm approachable. Anybody who wants to message me, you can absolutely do that. Guys, we are so close We're so damn close, man, to 4,000 subscribers. Man, if you could be a friend and tell a friend of, if you have a buddy or a friend that loves the Carolina Panthers and they're looking for a cool community to hang out with, tell them about your boys, man. We're growing. We have so many irons in the fire right now for you guys. There's never been a better time to be a fan of the
We need to get to that 4K. We're so close. We're as close as that 40-year-old unsatisfied married woman from new-ht.xyz in the top. Oh gosh. Let us get to 4K and to 10K and beyond, bro.
Oh yeah.
Who's next?
Help us get to 10K, but start on OnlyFans. Oh shit.
Oh.
Interesting.
But yeah. I think that's it.
Yeah, actually, now I feel it. CK, how can I get after you?
You can get me on the Facebooks, under the Twitters and the Twitches and the TikToks and all that stuff at Code Dizzle Allen. We got, just so you guys are aware, somebody put it in the chat. I'm gonna mess around with the new Madden. It's gonna come out on the 19th, I think, is when it comes out. And if I feel like it's good quality and all that stuff, I'm going to run some simulations. If it is, then we may actually bring back the Madden simulations and try to make it more consistent.
You're good at it,
if nothing else, to do like as a mini segment, like maybe even just a super highlight of the upcoming, like to do on a Tuesday night show. Instead of it as its own standalone, maybe make it a segment or something like that. That might be pretty cool. But yeah, that's something that we'll look at. I'll keep an eye out on. But be on the lookout for that potentially coming back.
Yeah,
Greg, get in here before I ice up Rare Gamer 99.
You can find me at the BatDaddy52 on Twitter is my personal handle. Hey, check it out. Before the show, I put out a tweet about some decals that I'm making for the show. This is the first of many contests. When I put these tweets out, the first 5 people to respond to me and DM me and promote the show will get one of these for free. After I've done a few promotions, maybe they'll start to be for sale, but for right now, they're kind of exclusive to these contests. So Jay Stubbs, Legacy Lynn, Kevin Boshoven, Kyle Cottrell, and Diesel Skills are my 5 winners. I'll get those mailed out this weekend. They're going to be 12 by 12s in case you have any specifications. I think Legacy Lynn hit me up. She wanted a smaller one, which is fine. But I just be on the lookout for when I put these out there, because the first 5 to hit me up are going to get them. Other than that, check me out at Geeks Chasing Squirrels Across the Multiverse. We go live on Fridays at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I think this week we're talking about Sandman, She-Hulk, and Prey, which if you haven't seen Prey yet.
Is it good?
And you like Predator. It's good. Yeah, it's pretty good.
All right, then I'm totally watching. I've been eyeballing it.
It's
I
good.
can't wait.
Yeah.
All right. That's the C3 Panthers podcast brought to you by CarolinaCatChronicles.com. Go to CarolinaCatChronicles.com. Click on the stories, click on the ads, buy a damn t-shirt, or just check us out on Tuesday, Friday, and every day in between as we do this shit. Cody, take us out of here.
C3 Nation. Until next time, keep pounding.
Look at that.